Hello, welcome back. We are here again for another div review for REL 1 and 2A. It is week 7 by our nomenclature.
Oh, I got it right, I guess.
Did you?
Yeah, I mean, I said week 8 to you, but then I changed to week 7 because I like being right.
Ah, yes. Speaking of being right, this week we are going to be giving some playoff predictions instead of just match predictions, which we will do as well. But
that's a bold statement.
Yeah, I know. We are going to be each picking who we think from Div 1 and Div 2A are going to be going to the playoffs and in what order. And it's just entirely a bonus point for our little competition here. For every team you get right, it's 1 point. If you get the team and the spot, like the order it is, like first place, second place, it's another point. And we can't lose points for being wrong. It's just like some bonuses.
3 points for us. Fuck you. We make the rules.
Yeah, well, we want to make sure that you're not disincentivized to pick things that you think might have a good shot, even though they don't look like they are currently now, sort of thing. Like, it's a gamble. It's extra bonus points. It's fun. And this is a week where we're going to be taking a look at the teams, so we get to see how people's teams are shaping up after 6 weeks of Blood Bowl things. So shall we get started at looking at stuff? So here we go. Dual game. This is the results for Div 1. We can jump right into things, I guess. First up, we have Khemri do it, yes we can, and Fear and Bloating. I don't remember what our predictions were. I hope you do.
It's McMacky, so we predicted McMacky. Oh, I'm just kidding. I predicted McMacky would win. You predicted Nurgle.
That makes sense.
Tself was talking to me about this game. Apparently, the Khemri were just getting, well, he says they were getting the stuffing kicked out of them, but it doesn't look like it from the injury box, though maybe some of those were regen. But yeah, Khemri had to pull out some shenanigans to win this one, but he did, and no one is better at shenanigans than 5+ splash, 5 must splash, I don't know.
Can't McMacky bless my passing dice? I mean... Yeah, the Nurgle took a bunch of casualties as well, but I imagine maybe Regen did a thing.
Yeah, it could be Regen. I mean, they're both Regen teams, but...
Nope, they failed both Regen rolls, so it looks like the Nurgle kind of got beat up a little bit after all. Oh well, that's entirely possible. Whoever kind of got the removal dice had a better chance at winning that one, I think, so...
Yeah, I mean, the Khemri were definitely on the receiving end of more blocks, which is kind of... Well, I mean, it's never a good sign when that's the case for Khemri. You are AB7 most of the time. You have very big, very vulnerable pieces to Claw Mighty Blow. It can go really poorly for you. But either way, I get a point and you lose a point because the Khemri pulled it out.
Well, we're going to go right back to neutral because in the Rebellious Scions versus the Grody Greens, I predicted the Nurgle and you predicted the Dark Elves. So there we go.
God damn it. I voted for a Velociraptor once. Look what it got me.
Yep. Loner MVP is kind of
5
non-ideal.
injuries on 11 breaks. Tells you maybe how that game went.
Wait, why is Hector the sickly #1 fan a loner? That's not a default name, is it? It can't be a default name.
I don't know. I don't think so. It's a default name, apparently?
That's a weird loner name.
Neat. It's too long for a made-up name. Fair enough.
Anyway, the Nurgle take that down 2-1. 3 armor breaks for the Elves, 11 for the Nurgle.
Well, 3 of the there was only 3 armor breaks, but 2 of them were Kaz, so it wasn't all that bad from that standpoint. But
5 casualties and 2 KO sustained for the Dark Elves. Nurgle, either a 2-1 grind or a you don't have players left, so I can do what I want kind of game. So I feel like that it could have gone either one of those 2 ways, but the Nurgle pulled that one down, grab a ton of SPP in the process. Some dice here. Lightning Bolt existed in that game, and it worked, so that's a thing. And we had Scooby and the gang and the Pantheon Passers.
We both predicted the Necro would win. And every time we vote against Tself, he just styles on us.
Yeah, 4-1.
I'm not going to start voting for him, but yeah, he did.
I don't remember why we picked the Necro. Probably because like Tackle and Mighty Blow were a thing that existed. But it turns out
Necro are generally pretty good at playing against elves. They've got the speed to keep the score up if like it turns into a score off. They've got the damage potential. Also because he was 5-0.
I mean that too. 42 blocks, 4 KOs, 2 injuries, and a kill. Yet 4-1 is still a thing. Well, getting enough.
I mean, to be fair, he received almost as much damage.
That's true. And if the elves can stay even on player count, which it looks like, is close anyway, then the quality of the elf players are good enough to keep you in the game and do really well. Certainly, like it's more about a player advantage rather than removing anything else.
Yeah. And it looks like these were elves who couldn't fail dodges, but who didn't crumple super hard.
Yep.
So
unfortunate for Scooby and the gang. Fortunate for Tself. Yeah. 3 leap successes. Boom.
Crazy to have full team going into the second half.
Yeah, that explains most of the game right there. If the elves go into the second half with a full team, they've probably scored once or twice already easily, and then they can get another one with a full team without a problem. So 4-1.
Yep, and then we have Nurgle versus Necro, and we predicted the Nurgle would win, as that's a tough matchup for Necro, and they did 2-0, making a ton of blocks and a ton of
24 AV breaks
to 11,
resulting in 7 casualties and 7 KOs.
That looks like a pitch clear to me, son.
Yeah, that's some serious damage, and that's going to explain that one. Fairly easy takedown for the grungy desserts there, I think. Relatively confident in their 2-0. You'll often, if a Nurgle wins 2-0, it's very, very likely that they were in a large amount of control for most of the game. If it's a close, it'll probably be 1-0 or 2-1. But a 2-0 basically dictates, well, the Nurgle did whatever they want all game. We have Archangel's Will and Ars Gotia. We both predicted opposite. You predicted Archangel and I predicted the Zeta, and it was a tie. So that's a good sign, I guess, and that we have the right kind of idea. 31 armor breaks for the Chaos off 50 blocks, resulting in 9 KOs and 4 casualties is pretty serious.
Jesus.
He who catches unseen picking up the MVP, and the killer Pestigor picking up an MVP, so he's ever closer to that legend status. But yeah, serious amount of armor breaks, a serious amount of removals. Yep. Unable to make it 2-1 off the back of those. Either some last minute shenanigans from the Wood Elves or some last minute failures from the Chaos to prevent the 2-1 aspect. Or maybe if it was the Chaos were sort of forced to go first and couldn't score till turn 8, and then the Wood Elves were able to stall out despite losing players. A couple ways that could have gone, but a lot of armor break, a lot of injuries for the Chaos, so they're gonna pull out a decent amount of SPP from that as well. Battle Brothers and Nurgle's FTDs. We predicted the Nurgle would take this, and they did. Nurgle's FTDs taking it down 2-1 over the Bretts. 17 armor breaks to 5. 63 blocks succeeded is pretty serious against a dodgy Bretonnian team. Yeah, 4 KOs, 6 casualties, and a death. I feel like the low number of blocks from the Bretonnian side was mostly just because they didn't have any players to do anything with.
Yep. That's a dead MVP Rotter though. That's
a Rotter. Who cares?
Blocks succeeded includes pushes. Yes,
it does.
It just includes everything but turnovers. If your block turned over, it doesn't count as a successful.
It's still a lot of blocks though, right? It's just a big number. Like think about how many blocks a turn you have to roll on 16 turns in a game on average to reach 63. It's just a lot. That doesn't mean knockdowns. It's just like the number of non-turnover blocks. Like normally in a bashy matchup, like you'll see like 50, 55, like in a like bash versus bash team. So 60 is a pretty big number for him. We had Not an Anime Sports Team and Ace Trucking Co. And I feel like the theme continues with 19 armor breaks, 9 casualties, 3 KOs, and 2 deaths sustained for the High Elves. This was a week of death. The Bash teams had their way with most of the other opposing teams. Only Tself really coming out on the good side of that. You know, he took a decent number of injuries, but managed to win on the back of it. Whereas pretty much all the other Agi teams just got their teams crumbled. Archangel getting a tie as well. We predicted the High Elves would win this, and boy, were we wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to lose when your opponent has no players left. 9 casualties sustained. That's almost as good as winning. You're getting up there. You can still get that higher, though. Bump that up.
Yeah, I think that was basically what we said when we were talking about it last week, is like, if the Chorfs get the removals, they'll win. If they don't, the High Elves will probably win. And we banked on the High Elves a little bit, and oof. Big oof. I mean, 40 blocks is like a reasonable number of blocks, but 9 casualties and 3 KOs is a lot. After that, this is what your leaderboard looks like. We've got McMacky taking over from Travel Scrabble in first place with 5 wins and 1 draw, with Travel Scrabble at 5-0 and 1 now. Zeta, Tself, Stouticus, all easily in competition for the top playoff spots right now. There are 5 in Div 1, sort of, including the Challengers Cup spot. You know, 4 wins, 3 wins, 3 wins, so they could easily rotate around over the coming weeks. ArchXL, Archangel, Caloric, Red Joker, Kicks, all still with 2, so 1 win behind 4 and 5. You know, they're not out of it either. Only people who are having a bit of a rough time right now, we've got Hylord Salt, Lazarus Diggs, Uber the Nuber, and Velociraptor down. Not out yet, honestly, because there are so many playoff spots, but it's starting to look pretty bad unless things turn around very soon for them.
Yeah. Do you want to do the playoff predictions now, or do you want to wait till we're done the teams?
We can do the playoff predictions now if you'd like.
Sure, let's do it before we look at the teams, because I think if I look at the teams, I'm going to change some of my answers.
Fair enough.
Alright, so we're going to do this draft style. You start, and you pick the first place, who you think will be first place in Div 1, and then I'll pick my first place, and then I'll pick my second place, and we'll go back and forth.
Okay, or we can like repeat the same ones, right? But we're just going to do it in order so that we don't like influence each other, is what we're saying? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, mine are going to be the most boring picks in the universe. But I think that McMacky is going to take spot 1.
I think Travel Scrabble's going to take spot 1.
So do I do 2, or do you do 2 first? Okay.
I do 2 first. I think McMacky is going to take.
I think Travel Scrabble is going to take second place.
Wow, this is really
it's going to be so boring, I promise. Normally Div 1 is quite a bit closer than this, but there's like with 2 teams at 5-1 and 0 by week 7, they have such a high chance of being in the playoffs regardless. It's basically a super safe pick to pick one of those 2. So there's going to be a lot of boring.
Who do you think's in third?
I'm going to take Zeta.
Me too. Wow.
Yep. Who do you think about fourth?
Fourth place, I think it is going to be Archangel, actually. A little surprising here. I think he's going to squeak in at the end. I don't know who he's going to go to playoffs with, but I'm rooting for the Twin Pete or whatever.
I'm going to take Grungy Desserts and Stouticus in fourth.
Okay, and then your fifth place?
I'm going to go with Tself. I think Tself is going to make it as well, doing well this season. It was kind of difficult for me to choose between Tself and Stouticus for the sort of fourth spot, but I knew it was going to be those 2 in some order, I think.
And my fifth place is, unsurprisingly, Stouticus. Fuck you, Tself.
I was going to go with, I was thinking about ArchXL because that team was so gross, and then, he was probably going to be my 4th or 5th, and then last week happened, and he's now at 880 TV, so that's not exactly a reasonable pick, I think. So yeah, mine are...
Tself can only win when I vote against him, so this is just me encouraging him to take first.
Fair enough. Yeah, mine are pretty boring, but, we might need to do this earlier for it to be less boring, I think, because by the time they get to records where they have 0 or a 1 loss, it's so likely that they're going to go that I might as well predict them. So, are we going to do teams? Yeah, let's do teams. Well, let's get the big one out of the way. Not an anime sports team, Arch Excel.
This is where a team once stood.
There's 5 players left.
This is only going to apply to like the Canadians in the audience. But you know those heritage moments, and you know the one for the dinosaur plains out west.
Oh,
where the guy's just like there's like creepy kind of ominous music playing, and he's just like wandering around in a hill, and then he like dusts off what looks like a rock, and it's actually like a fossil skull, and then it like pans out to like, oh, in Canada, the great dinosaur plains, blah blah blah. Yeah, that's what I feel like looking at this team. It's like, oh, this is like the ancient remains of what a team used to be.
I mean, next week is going to be really rough for him, but I think a lot of these are just MNGs, right? Nope, that's a Nurgle blitzer. The other blitzer is MNG'd. We've got a MNG on the catcher, and we've got a movement bust on the lineman. Like, so after the next game, it's still totally reasonable, right? He'll be back up to one of his really good catchers. He'll still have his thrower. He'll have both of the blitzers back. One of them is niggled. He'll still have that good lineman down there. But this next game is going to be so bad for him, right? You have a thrower, a catcher, 3 linemen, and a bunch of idiots. Like, it's going to be rough, but both of those blitzers being out is a big problem for the next game. But it's not certainly not over. Once they come back, he still has a good chance. Just next week is going to suck. We got a pending level on that thrower. So what do you think?
The fact that the thrower of all people survived is hilarious.
The dead Agi5 is a big deal. Agi5 can do such silly things on elf teams that it's kind of unfortunate that it's gone.
Yeah, for sure. What do I think on the thrower? Dodge or accurate?
Yeah, I think that's probably fine. Yeah.
I think either are fine.
Yeah, I think that tackle is pretty new on still not megalo blocks, being an 80 SPP, which is good. He's a sacker, and he was missing that part. And then this sidestep is new on the on initiate Aussie anus. So now he's blodge step movement guard, which is pretty. That's a good lineman. Like, that's a really good player to be one of the few that you have. He can do some pretty serious things. Very annoying to knock over.
It looks an awful lot like he bought that off the market because it's not an anime.
Very likely.
Or maybe it is.
I don't know. You're talking to me like I know what anime is. I mean, I know Girls in Panzer. I've actually watched Girls in Panzer, which is a really weird thing for me to say, but I have seen it.
Back when you played World of Tanks.
I was like, hey, look, a tank thing. Other people are talking about this. Let's watch it. I'm like, right, I don't like anime. It's basically what happened. Shall we? Yeah, it's going to be a rough game, but there's still a couple good players lying around, and after next week, he'll be back up to a much better strength, but
maybe he won't have a bash matchup in this division of almost entirely bash teams.
Maybe.
And then we have kicks, whatever.
Actually, he doesn't, interestingly enough. He's playing Tself, so Tself's happy with that.
Oh, yeah, I actually knew that, because Tself was like, it's 1 billion inducements.
Oh, yeah.
Which is not how Tself thought that relationship was
No,
going to go.
It's basically like Eldril, a wizard, and then that other high elf, like Soren Hightower or whatever, like the fancy high elf guy, is like exactly the amount of inducements he gets. So this is Kicks 96. That Hobgoblin is 1 SPP away from leveling, and then he'll be a Wrestle Tackle Frenzy something Hobgoblin.
Pro.
I guess.
May's second son of Ace is a professional and requires.
If you roll doubles, Stand Firm would be excellent.
No sidestep, Ben.
Why would you ever take sidestep over Stand Firm?
Because then you can step behind the person who blitzed you and then surf them as well.
Counter surf.
Yeah.
Then we have the Hobgoblin has got. I don't think that's a new movement, but it's a good thing.
It is, yeah. Neater.
Oh, that is a new movement.
Yeah, that's a new.
It's good to grab on the ball carrier. Keep up with the bulls a bit.
Great, especially on Chorfs.
He's got blodge sure hands. They're like, cool. What does he take next? I guess kickoff return. We're pretty much done. Never mind stats.
And Pico has managed to pick up a niggle despite having existed for like 4 games.
Yeah.
2 matches. I'm sorry, 2 matches in his niggle. Secretariat is still around. The team is still looking pretty good. It's relatively healthy for a Chorf team. It's still got even a dirty player.
Looks really good.
It
3
yeah,
claw mighty blow.
It's a team that kills
One of them
people.
is got dodge. There are 2 stand firm Chorfs. One of them is movement 3, but stand firms is probably fine. There's even like a piling on mighty blow jump up pro Chorf. 9 ball is pretty terrifying. We're getting into oh, what was that other Chorf that was really good like 2 seasons ago? But like Boat Lord of Boats or something? Or is that just a name that I thought was really good? But I think it was on that team. But there was like a crazy stupid Chorf that was on that team that was, you know, mighty blow claw piling on pro jump up, all that nonsense.
Is it Cinco Cinco? Or is that someone else? Was that on
I
this
don't-
team? That's on this team. Never mind.
Bull Centaur's got Juggernaut. Stand firm Juggernaut, Frenzy, Mighty Blow, Block. It's quite a blitzer.
That's not new. He's had Juggernaut forever.
Nope.
Secretariat's been Secretariat as is for a while.
Yeah. Still a ways away from that legend level. And if you're surfing people all the time, it may be difficult to get it because you're not going to get SPP from surfing people. But hey, surfing removes players, and that's what this Chorf team does, is remove players. Speaking of teams that remove players, we've got High Lord Salt, Sauce, and then Nurgle's FTDs. Movement bust on the Nurgle Warrior sucks so much, but he's stand firm, so I guess you have to keep him because they're so slow to level. It just
I
sucks.
don't think that's new. I think he's been there. He's been moving bus.
Yeah, just commenting on how it sucks. I missed the last. Like, it's been like 4 weeks since I looked at teams. Remember, because I was not here 2 weeks ago for the last team look. But he's getting very close to legend. Less than 10 SPP away.
Where do you even take?
Guard,
Guard,
yep.
I guess. Probably guard.
Guard blodge stand firm. Or tackle is reasonable if you want to dedicate him to punching stuff, but movement 3, that's probably not the best idea.
You could even do tentacles because he's already got stand firm, but it's not the best on strength 4 as discussed.
No,
It's
I think
not
I would
bad.
take guard. We have 2 almost legend. Well, I say almost. He's still pretty far away, but 2 like level 6 Nurgle Warriors is pretty serious. But yeah, the sort of full complement 3 block claw guard stand firm Nurgle Warriors are pretty impressive. And Queefiest Drippy Lips is getting there. He's got block and guard and 3 more SPP, and he can pick himself up. Either Mighty Blow to help accelerate, or just stand firm, which I think is probably what I would do.
I think he's gonna go mighty blow. I bet money.
It,
He's already got 3 stand firm pieces.
yeah,
right? 4 if he comes.
it's true, but like you don't. I think it would help more at this point. Like you're not gonna get 5 claw Mighty Blow hits every turn like reliably. I think this.
Not with that attitude. No, I see your point. Like he's already got the 3 mighty blow LS hits. Though, like, you know, statistically, one of those is gonna fail or more.
I mean,
So,
I think
not
either way is fine. I just think it's got a bit of diminishing returns at this point, and I feel like just another guard stand firm is so annoying to deal with, especially since one of them is movement 3, and he's not going to be able to like keep up with your cage very easily. Anyway, guard stand firm beast, very close to leveling again. Well, very close. It's a beast. It could take forever. Wardagore and Scrotus, 2 legend Nurgle Pestigores. So many high TV players in this team. So, you know, they've been legend, so obviously they have nothing to speak about. Nothing new there. Testes, moldy hair, picking up tackle, so now he's wrestle tackle. Excellent. Block Pestigore and some Rotters.
Yep, it's a gross team. It's been kind of underperforming this season, but still, you know, it's gonna come back. I think Nurgle's always here to stay. So. And then we have not underperforming kill team, Scotia by Zaza.
So many
We
things.
both think will be third.
Anything new-ish? I think Tentacles is new on at least one of those Chaos Warriors. I don't remember there being 2. But maybe I'm misremembering.
Yeah, Ducius picked up tentacles while
There you go. Many Tentacles. I haven't really tried Tentacles on Strength 4, but that's mostly because it seems like it's a last skill, if that, for Nurgle Warriors. To me, you know, it's not as good on as it is on Strength 5, but it's certainly a thing, right? It's just more rolls that your opponent has to make, and if you've got a couple and they're spread out and they're things like Blodge Stand Firm, it can be annoying to shift them, and then they also have to try to roll that Tentacles, even if it's not particularly hard. I think it's good. I haven't tested it on Strength 4 very often myself, so I can't like speak to how well it works for me, but
I mean, it's harder than you'd think it would be. It's like it's what, a 58% to fail, I think. You only got a 42% chance, 3 to 4.
is it? It's better than I thought it was then.
Yeah. Yeah, that's also what I did. I kept undervaluing tentacles by like one. I was off by one plus roll on a 2d6. So I was like, oh, isn't strength 4 versus strength 3 like 58% to get out or something like that?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I know I'm going to be taking it on my Hepatitis B drill whenever he levels up, but that's still a ways away. But I like it. I mean, I haven't gotten to use it very much, but I think there's other skills that are more important on Nurgle warriors, which is what my only chance to get tentacles are. Beastman, he's a legend. Yeah, it's a Beastman with all the skills you expect him to take in that order to be a killer. Mighty Blow, Claw Piling on, Block, Tackle, Juggernaut in some order. Some people replace Juggernaut with Pro, but I like Juggernaut. Then we have another one who's on his way, plus Strength, taking up one of those precious skill spots, so he's probably not getting Juggernaut. Another one, we get 3 sort of kill Beastmen.
Okay, no, you're right. It is, you have 58% chance of dodging Strength 3 from Strength 4. I thought it was even worse than that. Okay, yeah. So Strength 5 to Strength 3 is when you get the 42%, like a 7 plus, like an Armor 7 roll, or an 8 plus. Anyway.
Good.
We digress somewhat.
Reasonable ball carrier. He's got Blodge and Sure Hands. That's kind of all he wants. Now it's just as many stats that aren't movement that you can, or that aren't armor that you can get. Move and strength and agi, all good.
Mufagors is coming up on Frenzy.
I love how Mufagors has movement.
Yep.
It's very pleasing to me. Movement Fagors. Diving Tackle Beastman is kind of cool. I like that it's an option that Chaos certainly get that Nurgle don't really. You roll doubles on one of your limited Pestigors, you're probably not able to take Diving Tackle, but with, you know, enough Beastmen that you can build the way you want, that's a really cool player.
Oh, you're going Stand Firm and then Frenzy? It's a bold move, Cotton. He's going to be plus movement, block, Stand Firm for a very long time.
Probably, yeah. But I lost my train of thought.
Like, very audibly.
Yeah. And then there's a guard beastman. Getting another guard that we can put places slightly faster than the Chaos Warriors is good. Just more guard in general is good, especially since it's so easy for Chaos to take with the beastman getting strength access.
Stand Firm on the... He's taking Stand Firm on the plus strength, sorry. That makes more sense.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I think that's a perfectly...
Oh, absolutely. I would take Stand Firm on that.
I misunderstood. God. Anyway, yeah, he's got a gross team.
Turns out a lot of teams in Div 1 are good. Surprise.
Some are gooder than others, you know?
Uber the Noober and the High Fivers?
Yeah.
Anything new? Oh,
look at this properly ordered
Frankenstein is 1 SPPOA, which is kind of cool. But without Mighty Blow, that may be difficult to get. You're kind of relying on chance there.
I mean, he'll get it eventually. Flesh Golems make a lot of blocks. It's not as bad as it sounds. Like, law of large numbers kicks in at some point, you'll get a
grab is, you're just relying on luck. But, you know, a lot of the times we do that in Blood Bowl. I think grab is newish on the other one. At least I don't remember it.
Yep, it is. Good. It can, like, help with one turns, so you can save the blitz for the wolf at the end if the wolf wants to, like, one die blitz his way through. Though with Agi 4 dodge, you're usually just better dodging through the screen.
It's also, you know, they only have... What else do you take? You know, it's guard, Mighty Blow, block, tackle, grab.
Piling on. No. Don't take piling on Flesh Golems and stuff. He's got an Agi up support white, so someone who can kind of get anywhere in Mixedly. Bobby Hill is a pillar who will die one day because he's niggled, but it is not today. Al Bundy might be the most developed legendary player ever. 294, I think, is the highest that I've seen.
In our divs, anyway. I don't know if that's true ever, but it's one of the highest I've ever seen, certainly.
We need a Rebel Scholar.
Where's Herringzord? I know. I remember hearing
UK.
ludicrous stories about like some like fumble players. It's like, this is my 500 SPP.
Oh, sorry, I meant in REBBL. Yeah, I definitely didn't mean like. There's definitely been players in other leagues and other formats that were.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, I'm just trying to think of. I remember a story of like a 500 SPP something in fumble, and I don't remember what it was. But that's really high for REBBL.
And to balance out Al Bundy's bullshit, unlike Travel Scrabble, he has a mediocre wolf who only rolls mediocre things.
Yeah,
Travel Scrabble is a cheater.
A blodge tackle movement 8 claw frenzy piece with regen is so bad.
So aggressively mediocre. And then he's got a ghoul who is movement busted, but is also very developed, so he'll keep him around. He's picked up Fend even. He was blodge
Yeah, I
step,
remember them.
but now he's blodge step.
Fend is new. I would have considered. Fend is good, especially with sidestep.
What, like sure feet because he's.
I was gonna say kickoff return, but yeah.
Yeah, either of those would have been decent options. It's not as crucial on Necro to have kickoff return because you have a lot of other fast players. So if you do get a horrible kick, you can kind of cover the ball a bit with your.
Yeah, but then you can still use, like, if you have like kickoff return or something there, you can still use the Welves for blitzing and stuff, and you don't need to cover it as much. And it also lets you just get going faster to make sure that you're caught up with the rest of your team. Like you could be caught off, like, even if you move those wolves back to protect the ball, and then that stupid like wood elf or pro elf team like jumps over your lines and cuts you off, you know, have 2 wolves and a ghoul versus the elves, which, you know,
it's better than most slow teams. You know, that's all I'm saying. It's like the dire need to have kickoff return isn't the same as it is on like orcs and like dwarves.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. I like Fend too, because Fend in sidestep is certainly super annoying. Like, he's very easy or annoying to knock over, and then you can like sidestep to wherever you want and then prevent your opponent from falling up. Like, there you go. Cool. You don't get another block on me because I sidestepped away, and you can't follow, so I'm not marked either. As long as you're careful with the movement, I think it's really good.
Yep, it's a gross team. It's even got a block guard zombie who has picked up an AV bust, but he's all right.
Guard.
And the obligatory dirty. Then we have Fear and Bloating, the Red Joker's Nurgle team. I think the best performing one, or Stouticus? No,
Stouticus is currently, yeah.
Red Joker's not too far behind, though. He's a bit behind, but not too far. Back into the div, because I backed out like a
Beast of Nurgle has picked up Stand Firm, so we got Guard Stand Firm on that Beast of Nurgle, so those are the 2 skills he cares about, and now you pray for doubles, and if not, well, you grab, break tackle, something.
I remember when I figured out that Beast of Nurgle don't have mutation access on normal, and I was very surprised.
If they did, you'd see people taking things other than just Guard Stand Firm first, always, forever.
Yeah, take claws, probably.
Yeah, they could take claws, and you might even see stuff like prehensile tail, just to make it extra annoying with tentacles.
I wonder where the tail comes out of. Would you like to guess with me?
The smaller tentacle that comes out of his tentacle tongue. It's like the aliens from Alien.
It's tentacles all the way.
Yeah, it's just like the alien from Aliens, where the mouth opens and there's a smaller mouth inside, except it's a tentacle. A couple Nurgle warriors lying around, of course. One is just blocked, sadly, but he's 1 SPP away. I feel like Mighty Blow is a good option there. You've got 4 guard, which is a good amount for a Nurgle team. I mean, more is always better, but I mean, that's more than my Nurgle team has, if that tells you anything.
Yeah, and like accelerating his growth is probably worth taking the risk. I think.
Yeah, I would go Mighty Blow and then guard.
He's got a good
I
amount of strength in general. He's got a totally normal Pestigore for ball carrying, other than it's rolled dodge, and then it rolled a bunch of pseudo.
Yeah, it's basically what you take if that's what you roll. I mean, grab dodge and then.
And then he's got Gishmogors, who is filthy. Agi up, strength up, wrestle, tackle. Easy game, easy.
Oh, that's gross.
Yep, and then Gurfagor.
Strength 5 on the blitz. Strength 5 wrestle tackle with Agi 4 is a pretty good sacker. He wants to get strip ball.
He wants to get, well, I mean, strip ball's okay. What he really wants is a double for leap.
That'd be pretty good, or another Agi up.
Yeah, I mean, effectively.
I mean, if you only rolled, if you
the Agi up is
only roll normals, I think the next thing you take is strip.
Yeah, probably. I'll say horns. He's already got horns.
He's already got horns.
2 heads, maybe. You might get
2 heads. Yeah, 2 heads is actually a really good option too. I guess it depends on who you're playing.
I think I would go 2 heads over. I would go 2 heads over.
I would take.
I think most most teams have. You don't really need strip ball for first stuff when you're like strength 5 on the blitz. Like you're just almost always going to get a 2-die, so strip is a lot less viable or a lot less essential.
I think I would take a look at what matches you have coming up and see how many of them have sure hands. Basically, like if half.
Yeah, but like with a 2-die wrestle tackle, you're taking the ball down 75% without a reroll, assuming you get into the cage. So,
Yeah.
I think those are good enough odds. Strip ball makes it, I mean, like much better, like 20% better or something like that. But it's not bigger than being able to, like, the hard part of that block is getting into the cage. So I think 2 heads makes that a lot easier.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. Yeah.
Turns a 5+ into a 4+ on a standard cage. Turns out 4+s are a lot easier.
Gerfagor is guard, block, tackle, mighty blow, pretty good.
Yeah, exactly, Russell.
And then a bland Pestigor, which is a little sad, but he'll be a killer eventually. They don't have the blitzing Pestigor, which I think is the most glaring weakness of this team. There's a lot of good players.
I think it lost a blitzing Pestigor. It's probably gonna give Gerfagor Claw next, just to have like another blitzing Claw option, and then turn Brazgors into the like Claw Palmer.
Yeah,
I think that makes a lot.
Anyway,
good team.
Yeah, with you have Claw Mighty Blow on Nurgle Warriors, but one of them is movement 3 and one of them is movement 4. So not having like a blitz threat is kind of is the thing that I think needs to change.
Yeah, I mean he's got a Mighty Blow one, but yeah, not a Claw Mighty Blow one.
Tself.
Yeah, he's got a team. It didn't die yet. Elvalon is still around. Elvalon with his double niggle movement bust.
Strength 4 edgy 5 though.
Yeah, I mean, I had him without the niggles with an AV bust and without dodge and strip. So I had a pro elf catcher that was 4, 5, 8, 4, 5, 6.
I tried to stab him so many times and it never worked.
You did, and it just did not
Meanwhile,
work. Terra the Terrible is a beast. He won me a game like single-handedly earlier against Papanasi.
When I played Tself, my assassin was great, but he failed. He stabbed an armor 7 vampire a whole bunch of times.
He did cause a pseudo turnover by forcing me to make 5, 6+ shadowing rolls in a row, all of which I failed, and then I ran out of 5, 6+ on 2 dice. Yeah. So it was like a 0.2% chance.
It didn't really matter. I didn't do anything.
It didn't, but it did make me squawk.
That's true. What do we have that's newish? I don't know.
Dodge on Dispatcher might be new, but probably not. It's been around for a little bit.
Yeah, but
I mean, not a ton really. I mean, it looks like Tackle is new on Menace. Tackle and the Mighty Blow. That makes
honestly
sense.
It doesn't matter too much because these 4 players in the middle here are like the top 5 players exist.
Are you counting out Sif Muna, one of the legendary players?
No, I mean I wanted to move him up, but he's not in the right order. But like Dispatcher is a guard sidestepper. Like we have a Lodge sidestep movement tackle blitzer. There's Agi 4 strength or Agi 5 strength 4 and another Agi 5 with leap and block. Accurate strong arm safe throw kickoff return block thrower. Like this is a stupid elf team. It's no wonder it's doing well.
It's great. Yeah, no wonder 4-1's Necro teams.
Yeah,
it's gross.
It needs like
still not gonna make playoffs.
It needs like 2 of these players to win games, and it has 7. So you can lose players and still probably do fine. Lazarus Diggs and the Grody Greens.
Hey, look, it's that beast.
Oh, he's so good. Yazev Mucus is like the most incredible player ever. I was like cage diving like a boss on people with him, and then like strength 6 blitzing the ball carriers, and just oh my god, it's so good.
The one game I watched of you playing with Yazev Mucus, you really stupided like 50% of the game, and then as your final action on turn 16, trip skull with him. But
every other game I played with him, it was excellent though. He didn't really stupid for 2 straight games in Rebel Imperium, and then was such a monster in those games. This is like my favorite player ever.
I just played against Papanasti, as I mentioned, and his ogre never failed a bonehead, but 1 in 9 twice, and 1 in 27 once. Like, just like was a constant turnover machine.
Jeez.
It was like the only thing he was failing. It was really funny.
Bunch of Nurgle warriors. They're pretty standard. Block guard, block guard, block guard, block. One of them has managed to make it up to Mighty Blow Claw, and it's taken a long time, which is unsurprising when you go block guard first on all of them. I think I would have, like, one of these guard at least. I think I would have gone Mighty Blow first, just to try to get some development on the Nurgle warriors, because it's going to be real slow without it, and we can see that it has been with so much SPP on these Pestigors. Which is good. I mean, Pestigors are good, but the Nurgle warriors are pretty far behind, and they're going to stay behind for a long time. But we've got...
I like the pickup of Juggernaut. I think that might be kind of new. I think he's had it before a bit, but I think Juggernaut, particularly on an Agi 2 killer, is really nice, because 1 in 9s aren't like leaving your Agi 2 piece stuck up against someone.
Look, it's like the 4th Pestigor in this division that is block, Mighty Blow, Claw, piling on, tackle, Juggernaut in some order.
It's true. I've noticed like Pestigors and Beastmen just never take pro. And like a lot of other killer teams, they'll take pro even on like Welves or some shit like that. It's not even that uncommon.
Yeah, because they don't have to take other skills, right? They can fit it in, right? So take your basic kill skills: block, Mighty Blow, Claw, piling on, tackle. How many skills is that? 5. You now have 1 more skill slot left. A lot of the other killers like start with stuff, right? Like an Orc Blitzer starts with block and it can't take Claw. So what does it take? Mighty Blow, piling on, tackle. Like, you can fit pro in there, you just can't on a Pestigor or a Beastman. Like, there's no way to put it in there. Yep, Frenzy, 2 heads, Frenzy, wrestle, tackle piece.
It's probably the least unfair Nurgle team in this division. It's got like Yaza, and Yaza is a disgusting.
You can win. Yaza can win games by himself.
Nurgle Warriors, he can, but the Nurgle Warriors are underdeveloped. He's got a good blitzing Pestigor, but that's really it. He's got like a decent surfer. He's got a decent ball carrier, but like nothing.
I mean, he's also a like a good sacker, wrestle, tackle, 2 heads, Frenzy. You get a.
That's true.
But yeah, I think the Nurgle Warrior development is what's holding it back a little bit, and because there's just not, like, Nurgle are gonna have a hard time winning games against a lot of teams if they don't get a removal or 2. And right now you're getting 1 Mighty Blow hit a turn on like most turns with the Blitz, and you only get like 2 on the LOS. I'd like to see more Mighty Blow, especially in the Nurgle Warriors. 1 SPPOA.
I'm sure he's working toward it.
1 SPPOA on that bottom Nurgle Warrior. I think I would take Mighty Blow on that one. McMacky, currently top of the division. Can we do it? Yes, we can.
Your number 1 pick, mine number 2.
Did you just call McMacky number 2?
Yeah. What do you? I don't
yeah, I'm with you, Zizetta. I have 2 killers. It's like I'm with it. Yeah, Wrecking Ball Ron on his way to legendary. I don't know if we've seen a legendary Blitzrod before, have we? I don't think so.
I mean, I've certainly never seen one. He's got a ways to go. 50 SPP is no small feat for a Nagi 2 piece, but you know, he'll piling on his way there eventually, or he'll die. Those are basically the options. Yeah, I mean, nothing really new here. I think Grab might be new on Atomex.
No, he had that when he had that last week anyway when we watched his game, but 2 weeks ago, I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, not a lot of new stuff otherwise. Rob, last of his line, is very close to getting a new level. Getting another guard piece is always nice. He did get outbashed in the Nurgle matchup, so more guard, more better for, you know, giving away fewer blocks, giving your skeletons easier blocks definitely will help.
Wrestle, tackle, dirty player. They're skeletons.
Yep, I mean, it must be pointed out, his team is still incredibly fair. No, I mean, like, 1 good double, 2 good double. Other than that, like, no stats, no no like other interesting doubles or like.
There's just the 1 double, right? Oh no, there's that Tomb Guardian with block, yeah.
Yeah, which is like statistically under average. Yeah, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Tomb Guardian levels and 1.
Yeah, you'd expect to see another double in there within the next level or 2, 1 and 6. Yeah, 2 throw raws. 1 is gone, like, it's the dwarf school of you know, runners. You have 1 that's like the defensive one with wrestle, tackle, just because they're higher movement than everyone else on the team, and they're also, they don't start with block. And then the other one is actually for ball things with blodge, kickoff, return, fend. And then we have
And he does roll more than normals, but only one thing more than normals.
and we have Rebellious Scions by a Velociraptor, Dark Elves.
Still has a team despite repeated games where he's like getting cast into the ground.
Yeah, they keep getting
That's
mostly
going pretty
badly
well.
hurts and stuff, which is certainly good. Just one MNG for the next game, and
Yeah, it's just an
his
MNG.
blitzer has an AV bust, but he's blodge, tackle, movement, sidestep, and sprint, or whatever that is. I always get those fucked up. Sure feet. Sure feet and sprint. I can never tell them apart, mostly because I've
The one of the guy kind of like hustling is sure feet.
it also has like a little reroll thing in the corner, and reroll skills have that, so I should remember that.
It's true.
So that's a good blitzer.
Still a good team.
Another good blitzer is the strength 4 one, and he's also rolled another double to pick up guard. I mean, I guess technically strength is a double, and then another double to pick up guard. So he's strength 4 guard, which is not a thing you really have the luxury of on an elf team. But the dark elves being like the more bashy sort of style of elves certainly helps a lot, right? You have that harder piece to block down, and he's got guard. So you're less scared about throwing him in places to be that guard because he's strength 4 and blodge step. Like, that's such a good elf. Very annoying.
It's filthy. I mean, in general, it's a really good team. It's got a witch elf that's basically, I mean, all the witch elves have rolled only normals, but like blodge step, tackle fend.
Yeah.
Definitely good. Raj tackle for sacking. Yeah, I mean, it's a good dark elf team. It just like has been getting kind of the short end of things in this.
Yeah, it's a very bashy division, certainly, and dark elves can lose that a little bit. They're not as elfy as other elves, so when they run into like the Nurgles and Chorfs and stuff, it's hard to like score your way to victory sometimes, compared to like the wood elves or pro elves of the world. Because they're the slightly more rely on punching elf style, but you know, they're still elves. Then we have, what's next? Travel Scrabble, 2000 TV Necro team, currently second place in the division. Your pick for the top spot, my pick for second.
Yep.
Put your players in order. God damn it.
No, I know. That's what I was saying.
You lose the spot for
I
me.
think Travel Scrabble is going to win the division, but I think Uber the Noober wins my heart for having a properly ordered.
Zombie, ghoul, werewolf, white, flesh golem, zombie, werewolf, flesh golem, zombie, blank, zombie. I hate you.
That's good. I'm glad he does it just to mess with us. Muttley the Third continues to be the filthiest piece I've ever seen. Muttley Jr. is a close second. Next team.
They're gross. Agi 5, blodge tackle, strength 4, blodge step, mighty blow. No wonder, like, those wolves, no wonder this team is doing well. 2, like, pretty reasonable flesh golems, guard block, mighty blow, grab. Then on top of that, there's an Agi 4, strength 4 white, just in case we need more nonsense. Gah, it's evil. Strength 4 ghoul, like, it's he's also movement busted, so that's a theme for ghouls in this division, but like, this team is stupid. This is so stupid. Like, no wonder he's doing well. This is absolutely ridiculous, the number of stats.
Yep. Yeah, and there's not a lot else to say. It's filthy. I was gonna say it finally paid the flesh golem tax, but that's a zombie.
Yep, you can't tell because he puts them in the wrong order.
Yeah, no, I mean it has paid no taxes as far as I can tell, other than it lost a white who's well on his way to being a useful piece again with block.
Someone call the Blood Bowl IRS. Someone hasn't paid their flesh golem taxes. Needs to be audited.
I'm sure he'll pay by the end of the season.
I need one of these
in, like this claw division.
Yeah, I was gonna say I need one of these Nurgle teams to audit him, as it were.
Speaking of a Nurgle team, I think this is this is my favorite Nurgle team, and it's the one that's doing the best. So I'm gonna pat myself on the back for that one. It's just got like a good mix of like solid warrior development, nothing like insane there, especially with the 2 movement busts, but totally solid. A normal beast of Nurgle, but like normal best big guy in the game is pretty damn good. Angry Churro is 3 SPP away from getting guard or tentacles.
Tentacles.
Probably
tentacles.
Guard or tentacles.
Tentacles.
Ben is very keen on tentacles.
I'm a big fan of tentacles.
Guard or tents would be fine. Sponge Cake Man is nothing special in terms of like what he's rolled, but is a damn good piece. He's even picked up kick. you're always going to want him on defense, and he's going to be kind of protected, so decent place for a
It's
kick.
like the only place you can really get kick on a Nurgle team, but I'm pretty sure we've talked about that before.
Yeah,
at least in my opinion.
We talked about it because we were casting the game.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Yellow Lead Brownie is a perfect ball carrier. He's got Agi up, sure hands, 2 heads, so he dodges on Agi 5. He's Agi 4 blodge, sure hands, like way more reliable ball access than Nurgle usually get at a much lower SPP. He's still got 1 level to go. He can pick.
Yeah, I think the big thing there's a good mix.
Something.
Like this team can basically do everything, right? We've seen like some other Nurgle teams in this division. Like one is really kill heavy, then we've got one that's just like block guard everywhere, not a whole lot of kill. And I think you kind of need a little bit of both to do well as Nurgle, unless you go crazy, super all in kill heavy, and then just play like a Robbie. But you know you can do well that way, but you might also just lose when people decide to play with the ball. So I think this is good. Like it's certainly helped out a lot by like the strength 5 Nurgle warrior is a monster. Yellow Lead Brownie is a monster. Donut in a Hole is a really good player. Like he's got a player to do every role that you want Nurgle to do, but then all the ones that he's got, like all the role players are really, really good at that role because he's picked up the right doubles and the right stats. So it's really, really nice to grab, right? And it can be super annoying when, you know, you get that plus Agi roll on all apple pies instead of on Yellow Lead Brownie. But he got the right rolls on the right players, right? And that's really, really handy, and I think it's gonna one of the big reasons why he's doing so well this season.
Yeah, it's like one of the most well-rounded while also gross Nurgle teams. So.
Archangel's will.
And then poor Archangel, Super Bowl
Hello,
champion.
Cat. Please don't rub the microphone.
Not much of a team. I'm waiting for her to appear on screen.
She's right here.
Oh, she's below your camera
Yeah,
pane.
she was rubbing her face on the microphone, so you could probably hear it.
Oh, there's her floofy tail. Yeah, I mean, still a solid
Armor
team.
busted tree. Fire him. He's armor 9. Worthless.
Not that bad considering how often trees go down and the number of claw pieces in the division.
Yeah.
He who catches unseen is still kicking around. Like Adrastia and he who catches unseen are really the
Strength
team.
4 mighty blow.
Savari
Oof.
is a lineman he protects and loves a lot. I know, like has picked up leap, so now it's a wrestle tackle leaper, so he can potentially get wrestle tackle 1 dies on the ball instead of throwing a dancer at it.
That's I would like to point out that is a Wood Elf Lino who has almost made it to Legend. And I say almost.
Well, it's 100 SPP.
He's made it to level 6. I don't think I've ever seen a level 6 Wood Elf Lino before. Like, that's
true.
That's impressive.
Ivaref has picked up only an MNG, so he's fine.
Yeah, but there are 9 players on this Wood Elf team, 8 for the next game. But like, it turns out when you have He Who Catches Unseen and Adrastia, you can still do a lot of nonsense.
Yeah, still a totally gross team that can do a lot of gross
I mean, it
things.
turns out Wood Elves are good. Who would have thought?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Choleric, Battle Brothers, took a bit of a beating in the last game. And that kind of shows. We've got...
Yeah, his blockers are taking a pound.
In all my experience with Bretonians, that seems to be how it goes. You know, the blockers tend to end up eating injuries in my experience. This one, movement busted.
The blitzers are totally fine. But...
Well, the blitzers are the team. One of them is movement busted, one of them is Agi busted, and one of them is just MNG'd? Yeah, just MNG'd.
And he can afford to pick up a new one, and I imagine he's going to. A 4th blocker is always nice.
Especially going into your next game with 1. The big thing with the blockers is that they're your only like natural strength access, so it's the only place you can really get guard. So he's going to his next game with 1 guard, even if he buys a new blocker, which is a problem because you're going to have to bank really heavy on that like blitzer, the Agi blitzer game that he has, which is a good game. He's got 3 Agi plus blitzers, which is incredible, right? That's 3, movement 7 elves on a human team. I
gotta say, I love He Who Fiddles Unseen as a lineman.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I also like the sound of Emily being eviscerated in the background.
Yeah, the cat is sitting on her.
No,
she's just being cute and like snuggling, but she's kneading on her. Yeah. The blitz.
I mean, it's still a solid team though for like 1490.
Oh, it certainly is.
Got a lot of
he's just gonna have to bank a lot more on the blitzer elf game in his next game than he is going to be able to do blocks. just because you're not going to have any guard to like assist you there, and peasants are kind of useless when it comes to like doing block stuff. So you're gonna have to rely a lot more on those blitzers next game than normal, but I think he plays that way anyway, like have very, very heavy blitzer play. So I think he'd probably be okay.
Especially if he has an Elfie matchup next, which he
does not.
Probably does not. No. He does not.
Shall we predict? Scooby and the gang versus Fear and Bloating. So we've got that really, really good Necro team and the Red Jokers. Nurgle with the crazy, like the Agi 4 strength 4 Pestigor, couple guard, 2 claw pieces. There is the good ball carrier, the Blodge sure hands, 2 heads, extra arms.
Yeah, I mean, the conventional wisdom is that Necro struggle against Nurgle, but this isn't the conventional Necro, so.
Yeah, I think I mean, Travel Scrabble's doing well, and they're also very good Necro. And, you know...
Gishmogors is definitely something to keep an eye on. It does get a natural 2-die against Travel Scrabble Strength 4 Blodge Ball Carrier, so that's...
Yeah, that is something. I think I want to give it to the Necro. I mean, I have a hard time against Necro as my Nurgle, and my Nurgle are pretty similar to Red Jokers currently, minus the stat ups. So I think, and plus, you know, let's give some faith to Travel Scrabble. I predicted him to do well, so let's keep going with that, shall we?
Sure. Both teams have almost identical TV though, which is it.
We have
and yeah, the Nurgle or the Necro have a really deep bench, so causing significant damage is going to be hard. Like it's kind of a regen off, and they both have regen. They both have deep benches, and the Necro have, you know, way more agility and speed.
Yeah.
So you'd think that this,
and they're going to be able to keep up a little bit with the strength of the Nurgle warriors with the plus strengths that they have too. So
yeah, for sure. He's got
grungy desserts and rebellious scions. We've got the Stouticus's Nurgle that you really liked, and the Dark Elves that have had a bit of a rough go lately.
Nurgles. They're my favorite Nurgle versus Dark Elves, and I mean, like, that's not a great matchup for Dark Elves anyway, because it's sort of bash team that's good at keeping you around, and Dark Elves aren't really as fast as the other elves. They can't really escape.
Yeah, I think I like the Nurgle team for this one as well. The Dark Elves would do really good in an Elfie matchup, I think, but against like a really heavy bash team with the kind of skills that Stouticus has, I'm gonna have to give that to Stouticus, even though we're playing against his clan this week and we have to crush him and not give him any good like vibes or whatever, because we're gonna crush Surf this week.
We got good matchups. I'm looking forward to it.
Crush them.
Who did I get? I got Dark Elves, right? I wonder who plays those Dark Elves. I didn't actually check.
I don't remember. I can look if you really want.
Oh, I got it here. We're good. Shadorra will play. Oh no, you didn't actually mark it because you suck.
I haven't. I still have to do the Reddit post, but we jumped right into this after, so I didn't get a chance.
I mean, I didn't have a disappointing week against Rotter. I beat Nugget, but then yeah, we got fucking crushed. I mean, Zons beat our Dorfs. That's the kind of dice we were rolling with last week.
Yeah, that didn't go very well. I mean,
beat our Dorfs and killed.
My match was pretty. We weren't really okay with mine, but we thought we were favored in the other 4, and then we lost all of them.
Sean Man was punching elves, and they never broke, as I recall. Ellie was playing against you, and you just like had rat dice. Yeah, it was just it was a rough week.
I was playing Hindus, and it was his orcs versus my whiteless Necro. Or whiteless undead, which was pretty rough.
Yeah, we hoped the fact that you had 0 tackle was going to make that a little bit tougher for you, but it just didn't quite work out.
Yeah, it was not a good week, but you know, it's okay because you guys hadn't won any other weeks yet, so we're not down behind you. We're still winning.
It's true. We're still, you know, 2 wins ahead. We'll survive.
1 win. They're 1-0-2, and we're 2-0-1. Anyway, where were we? Did Archangels Will and Khemri do it? That's interesting. Like, it's the like quintessential agi team versus the like quintessential non-agi team. There's a good amount of tackle on the Khemri side and 6 mighty blow, along with a bunch of strength 5 guard pieces that are going to be difficult to get by.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is kind of a strange matchup. Obviously, the Wood Elves can basically take the ball and score easily anytime forever, but they're going to run out of a team real fast against that much. And no, like, bloat for claw, things like that. I mean, McMacky is just going to 3-die, mighty blow hit, you know, mighty blow tackle blitz piling on every turn with like dirty player fouls. He's going to chew through Archangel's team real fast.
Yeah,
it's a Wood Elf team with a wizard.
Yep. That's what I was gonna say. Is there is a wizard, that's a thing, and wizarding or just getting the ball off of the throw raw is suddenly becomes a big problem because it's Khemri and they have to pick it up. But he's gonna be able to surround the ball with like strength 5 guard, so many mighty blow. It's gonna be hard. I think it's gonna be hard for Archangel. I think he can win it, but I think it's hard. So I want to give it to McMacky.
You want to give it to McMacky?
Yeah, he's also one of my playoff predictions. So you know we have to go that way. We don't.
Honestly,
have to,
I think I'm gonna pick Archangel for this.
Okay.
One. Like he's my spicy 4th place pick. I gotta back him at some point. Though I agree this is a hard matchup, and like would not be surprised to see like 2-0 to Khemri as Khemri just cas the Wood Elves into the ground.
Battle Brothers and the Grody Greens. So we've got Lazarus Diggs, his 1900 Nurgle. The like block guard ones rather than the like hilly ones, and then against Cleric's Battle Brothers. This is interesting. You know, Cleric is missing the blockers for the punch game, but he's never gonna win even with them, he's not gonna win the punch game against a guard heavy Nurgle team. He's got the high movement and the agi to do agi things, which I think is actually difficult. Like, Nurgle have a difficult time dealing with agi teams that don't necessarily pass frequently. You know, you're just doing is the stink is not necessarily a thing. Matters.
I mean, Brett's do a lot of short passes and handoffs, so I mean, it's not negligible. And where a lot of the handoff, I mean, most time you're going to be doing it to Agi 3, though this team has lots of Agi 4 targets. Less of an issue.
So it's going to be 1550 for the Battle Brothers against the 1900 of. So we can have Griff. Griff ball is a thing.
Griff ball with a wizard.
Yeah, I think I want to give this to the Battle Brothers. It sounds weird. But I think the agi plus the inducements are potentially going to be difficult for the Nurgle to deal with. And like the way the Nurgle deal with that is by just mighty blowing peasants to death and removing players, but there's 2 mighty blow on the team. Although the Beast of Nurgle is a thing. Like, oh man, that Beast of Nurgle is so good.
It's just impossible for him to block because he's got Dauntless, I guess. So technically it's possible, but the odds of you, it's a 5+ Dauntless roll? 4+?
Yeah.
4+. It's a 4+ Dauntless, so it's not that bad.
But like, he's just gonna. You have to, if you're trying to dodge away from it instead of block it, which you probably are with Agi 4 dodge on most things, you're gonna have to roll tentacles. He is.
No, I think your better odds are blocking the beast at that point.
Yeah.
If you've got a 2-die with Dauntless, I'd take the 2-die.
Man.
It's a 55% divided by 2 to knock it down. So, like 27.5% versus a strength 6 to strength 3 tentacles, which is it's the same odds of breaking armor 8. So it's like 30%. So I guess actually it's about the same. But in the good result of mine, you've knocked over the beast.
Yeah.
In the bad result of, I mean, I guess they're kind of the same.
Pretty much.
It kind of depends on what you want to be doing, and like. How bad it is to still be stuck against the beast.
I think it depends on how well Cleric does at not letting the beast get on all of his blitzers. If it like I know I like won games in Imperium by taking that beast and just slamming him into 5 players and being like, here you go, enjoy. Now I'm gonna play with my 10 players against your 6. Like, good luck. and it like works because that beast is so good. So if he can avoid that situation, I think Cleric will take it. But if he gets stuck up on that beast and that beast does things, then it could go. It could easily go Nurgle. So I'm gonna go with.
I'm gonna back up Lazarus. I think Lazarus.
I'm gonna go Cleric. Not an anime sports team in Pantheon passers. I mean, I picked Tself. Like ArchXL doesn't have a team for this next game. He's gonna get a boatload of inducements, but I don't really think it's gonna matter much against like another super elf team. Although, like, the good news for him is that he's not going against a bash team, so he's gonna get all these players back, and like it's pretty unlikely that he's gonna lose more. It's not gonna be like a punchy punch game where he could lose the rest of his good players. So that's like.
I mean, Tself does have a mighty blow, and it's a mighty blow tackle even. So like you could see some damage.
Yeah, but it's like when you have a million deloners, they're probably going to be the ones taking the damage from the one mighty blow. So I think it's actually pretty good for HXL. He's going to get all his players back. This matchup is going to be rough, but it's not going to get any worse, I don't think. But yeah, Tself.
Yeah.
Ace Trucking Co. and the High Fivers. So we've got the Chaos Dwarves, and we've got the Uber the Nubers Necro. I think I probably want to go Chorfs on this one. They're similar TVs, like, you know, there's a lot of guard and that kind of thing. You know, Al Bundy and Bud Bundy are certainly a thing, but I feel like these Chorfs are monstrous.
They are good at pitch clearing people.
I feel like that's what's gonna happen. I mean, the werewolves can do a thing. They are movement 8. They're going to run away. They're going to be able to like target Chorfs, but it turns out that Chorfs tend to stick together. Because, you know, they're slow, and it's going to be difficult to get that like non-frenzy trap blocks going through. Yeah, you know, it's not that bad for the Necro, honestly, but I think I still like Chorfs. Necro have a good shot at it, but I think I want to go for Chorfs. How about you?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Al Bundy can certainly do things, but I think it's up to him to do things.
Yeah, and a lot of the dodge that they have is kind of negated, so that's going to be a problem. Nurgle FTDs versus Ars Gotia. So this is High Lord Salt versus Zayzeta. So it's a bash mirror. Yep. Inexplicably, the Chaos are the top dogs.
Somehow.
Despite having a nearly rookie Chaos Warrior. 5 guard to... How much does High Lord Salt have? 5 guard to 5?
I think the real question is 4 Claw Mighty Blow to 3 Claw Mighty Blow. No, also 4.
It's a pretty even
It's
matchup.
4 on both sides.
No. Oh, is it really?
They both have 4 Claw Mighty Blows. It's pretty even.
Like, this is normally a matchup that Chaos struggle with because the Nurgle have like just way more players and regen is a thing. But this Nurgle team doesn't have way more players, and regen, I mean, is a thing, of course, still. But there's only 3 Rotters. If he can start breaking through Rotters, there's going to be like some vulnerable shit on the line.
Yeah. That's certainly true. I think so. They're very even teams. Like, they're super similar in TV. I think. I mean, if I were Sauce, I would buy like 2 Rotters and just have more players, because you're already down. You're down 140 TV. Like, you're not getting anything relevant out of inducements unless you really wanted to play with a wizard. But like, I think I'd almost rather just buy like 2 Rotters and then buy like get a babe in inducements to make sure that I keep the player advantage going. Because you have the Nurgle have regen and they have foul appearance, which in like a long sort of prolonged bash matchup is a thing that kind of advantages the Nurgle a little bit. You know, on average, when one team has to roll a 1 in 6 to do the block, and then 50% of the time they get their player back for the next drive,
yeah, it just makes it a lot harder to snowball and therefore to be snowballed against. So.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is like what you said, the Rotters, right? If those Rotters go down, then High Lord Salt is probably actually in a rough spot. They have an important role to play.
Uber the Nuber and Kicks are going live now.
It's an important role to play. So I think, honestly, if I were him, I would just buy 2 Rotters and then induce a babe rather than like induce a wizard or anything.
I think that's a good choice. Who do you think's gonna win?
It's so hard. I think that in general the Nurgle have an advantage, but Zeta's been doing really well. He's one of the players I picked for playoffs. I don't know. Let's Nurgle. I picked Nurgle. Let's go. I like Nurgle.
I pick Chaos, even though I think that Zay is unfavored in this.
I think this could it's like I think this is a 50-50 game. It could go so easily one way or the other. I think just on average it'll probably I think it goes to High Lord Salt because of the regen and assuming he plays the inducement game right. If he just leaves this how it is, then two Rotters go down and suddenly the chaos just snowball and then things are bad. So that's Div 1. Man, we have to get going. Div 2. Let's do this. 2A. Schedule. Of course, 2 games have already been played for the coming week, so that's less to predict, I guess. 2A, a bunch of keeners. First match, we had Fallen Wonders and the Greenskin Brawlers. So we predicted Orcs would take this, and we were wrong. 2-1 Amazons. They let's see, 72 blocks for the Orcs.
Yeah, looks like the Zons just. I mean, like they broke. They got 26 breaks, but in 26 breaks, they only got 5 KO and 3 KAs. Like it was just a stun fest.
And then the wake up after KOs were 5-1, like 83% success. So when you're only getting KOs and then all the KOs come back, yeah, that kind of explains that one to me, I think. But good lord, that's a lot of blocks. Like well done for Fall. I mean, we've seen Fall play his Amazons before, and that's ridiculous. That many blocks. I think a couple poor Kaz dice and good KO dice make a huge difference for that one, and that's probably a large portion of why we see 2-1.
For sure. An interesting result. I'm not like sad to be wrong there. It's kind of a cool result.
I like it, yeah.
The Zons keep impressing us by pulling out surprise win.
Rouge's Gallery and the Cantankerous Creations. We both predicted Chorfs for this one, and surprised Chorfs. I mean,
Chorfs did Chorf thing.
Did the Chorfs do Chorf things?
They pitch cleared the lizards.
They sure did.
Killed 2 things.
7 casualties.
Possibly killed the team.
Yeah.
We'll have to go look at that, but that looks like a potentially dead team or 2 dead scales.
Well, when Chorfs remove your whole team, there's not much you can really do to win. Murderers Row and Fogmire Fen Beasts, we predicted the Necro would win this one, and we were wrong again.
Fogmire Fen Beasts, man, they just keep winning despite me.
I know, like we did this last time too. We reviewed Fogmire Fen Beasts like a season or 2 ago, and we kept like not predicting them, and then they kept winning. Like Rolling Red is apparently knows what he's doing with his like weird frenzy lizard team.
I mean, it must be said, it looks like the Necro just got pitch cleared. Like 7 KO, 6 casualties sustained.
Very true.
I don't know if they were getting fouled or failing dodges into Kaz, but it looks like they just had a horrible.
Dwarf Pube the Great got MVP and leveled, so we're gonna see what he got in a little bit here. But yeah, it looks like that was very much in control of the lizards. Like crazy amount of removals. They had the ball the whole time. Didn't have to make like any sort of rolls of any significance.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of dodge rolls, interestingly enough, but I mean skinks. But 17 dodge rolls seems like a lot.
Very, very well of them. Yeah, like 82% success. I mean, he's also got a lot of break tackle.
Oh, right. Yeah, break tackle is a thing, too.
That's a lot of success. He failed almost half of his go for it. That's just kind of funny. And there are chainsaw rolls on both sides. I don't know how the game displays chainsaws, but I know the dice log is just really wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like you have to... It's because there are 2 chainsaw rolls, right? You have to roll a 2+ to use the chainsaw, and then it's an armor roll, and you roll your own armor, right? So there's a chainsaw on both sides because one side had to roll the 2+, and then the other side had to roll armor.
I guess.
I think, and so since it was...
But there's 3 chainsaw rolls on one side and 5 on the other.
I don't understand. Maybe it just...
The dice log is
maybe it just counts as an armor roll. It could have...
Oh, so these 3 versus 2, but you still have to... Don't you still have to use... You still have to make the 2+...
To do the foul, yeah.
Oh, but maybe it doesn't show the fouls in the dice here? I don't know.
The dice log is bad. Somebody had a chainsaw. It doesn't look like it ever failed. I mean, the 5 dice being 100% implies that they were rolling the 2. Can lizards get a chainsaw?
Yes. They can get max spleen ripper, I
I
think.
didn't know lizards could get a chainsaw.
Whatever.
I care.
Okay, I'm going on to the next game.
Helmet. Yeah, they can take helmet. The human one, which is weird because, you know, he's a human.
Discord is yelling at you and covering my face.
Why is this? Oh, don't switch. Something happened there. Say words. We're all good. Yeah, I don't know. It's the chainsaw rules are stupid. Somebody got a chainsaw. I imagine it's Fogmire Fen Beasts because they succeeded a bunch of. Actually, I don't know. They both. Fuck it. I'm done. I don't care. We're not looking at that anymore.
Good.
Fogmire Fen Beasts win 2-0. Chainsaws did things.
Rats against Teen Stars versus Fell with Code. I did the thing. I said the name. 3-2 for the rats. The rats just beat the shit out of the High Elves.
What Blood Bowl 3? It got like recanted.
Recanted.
Because they like.
It got decanted.
They accidentally recanted is a word.
It is, yeah. Totally
I'm not making that up. It got.
You're not. It's just a weird. It's just like kind of an old timey word.
I'm an old timey kind of guy.
You are. They spoiled Blood Bowl 2020. Accidentally.
We didn't predict this one because it was one that already happened, right? Yeah.
It did.
3-2 rats.
Fell with Codadol sustaining 10 KOs and 6 casualties.
This has been a violent week in both divisions.
Yeah, for sure. The movement busted strength 5 frenzy dodge piece collecting. Oh, he's also niggled.
Exactly 100
I don't know if that
SPP.
movement bust is new. Yeah, how beautiful.
Oh, Puitik is gone. He took minus movement.
Aw, Puitik. He was my favorite.
Rats looked like they had the ball most of the game, more blocks. I mean, it's 3-2, so it's a bit of a shootout, as it were. But the Rats doing better in the shootout, having the ball more often. You know, maybe being able to stall some so that the Elves couldn't get a quick score. One of the halves.
Yeah, the Rats won. They did rat things. Go to the next game for a second.
Reality Kings and Cogs of War.
Look at the MVP for Death
It's
Roller.
the Cold Train, baby.
It takes up half the screen, and then when you scroll over,
it vibrates.
The dwarf starts manically bobbing above his
screen. Death Roller. It's the Cold Train, baby.
I'm drowning in my skills.
Many skills. He's almost as bad as a Beast of Nurgle.
I think he's worse than a Nurgle warrior.
Beast of Nurgle.
He's got more base skills. Or he's worse than a Beast.
Probably.
Beast of Nurgle have what? Loner, tentacles, foul appearance,
disturbing presence, Nurgle's rot,
regen 5.
No, and tentacles.
I said tentacles already. So 6. A Death Roller has break tackle, dirty player, juggernaut, mighty blow, secret weapon, no hands, stand firm, loner. It like way more skills.
There's 8.
Death Rollers start with 8 baseline because they're fucking Death Rollers.
Yeah.
Anyway, HD Love, the best player on Superfed's team, getting an MVP and possibly a level. It's what, 31 SPP to level, so he's picked up tackle recently, which is nice. Very good. I think he had it for this going into this game, probably, but yeah, I mean, he didn't get a level up. So
similar numbers of blocks. The Reality Kings had the ball like way more often, which doesn't surprise me very often or very much for a Superfed game.
Similar number of breaks, though it looks like Superfed took a bit more damage, maybe a little bit more cast at least.
The dwarves took 4 KOs, which is surprising. He actually removed the dwarves, which
it's the Coltrane baby. Got 9 SPP, 2 Kaz, and an MVP.
Death Roller MVP certainly deserved it. Yeah, but when you get more removals than your dwarf opponent as Kislev, and then also have the ball more often, you win.
He had 2 bribes, so I'm guessing that's given that this was 1-0, that's the Death Roller staying on the entire match.
Yep. But he's not particularly useful.
Not enough to get him the win. He's pretty good against the Kislev. I mean, they're pretty bad.
Yeah, well, they're just gonna dodge away or leap away.
Yeah, but it's a 3+. I mean, they're not like They're not 2+ dodging out, right? It's not like against elves. He's useless against
Yeah.
elves, but he's like medium. He's medium against
medium rare death roller.
Yeah, and then we have the Rowdy Rebel Rousers and Thick, Rich, and Creamy Nurgle versus Necro. You predicted the Nurgle, and I predicted the Necro, and you
boom.
Right. Hell of a bash game. 24 breaks to 21.
Yeah, Jesus.
But 24 translated into 10 removals for the Nurgle and 5 removals for the Necro. So that kind of tells you how that goes.
Claw Mighty Blow versus Mighty Blow. When you don't have to use the Mighty Blow to break armor, you can use it on the injury. And
well, I mean, Necro do have claw.
Not as much.
Yeah, you're right. Not as much. Doesn't explain quite the discrepancy. I mean, the Necro took 12 removals.
There's more. There's certainly more Mighty Blow on the Nurgle team. Similar, yeah, but like 6 casualties versus 7 casualties and 5 KOs.
I think you've got your lead back this week. I think I threw it.
Yeah, Nurgle take it, and looks like it was a game of like Blood Bowl 7s with both teams just not having players by the time they got to the end of it. Well, it also regen is a thing. Like, how did the regen do?
Well, both sides have
Nurgle have too. More, or no, less actually.
No, Nurgle have
the zombies. It was very bad for Thick, Rich, and Creamy, and it was
quite good for the Rowdy Rebel Rousers. 3-2 for 60% for Rowdy Rebel Rousers and 14% for the Necro. So the Necro didn't get very many removals, and the removals they did get did.
Yep.
I hate
3-2 isn't above average really. It's 5 dice rolls and it's 50%. Like it's.
Yeah, I mean it's still like. It's on the good side of average.
I mean, it's basically a coin flip, whether it's going to be 60% or 40%.
It's fine. Yeah. It's basically expected value. We're all happy when regen works the expected number of times. He did get really lucky on foul appearance. It only triggered twice all game, despite rolling it 23 times.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So that's the thing. He dodged precisely twice all game and failed both. So that's never a good sign.
He did pass 1 tentacles, so he rolled a which dodge? I don't see a dodge. Oh, yes, he did. So he made the tentacles, then failed the dodge, probably re-rolled the dodge, and then failed it. I guess is my guess at exactly what happened in that sequence.
A rough game, rather, for Jimmy Burrito. Did he survive? I did kind of just bet on him to win, I think. Oh, no, wait. Oh, we haven't revealed that yet.
No, we have not. Then we have Oathblow and The Secret of My Success, which I think was played as... Or no, this one we did predict. We predicted the Orcs and Orcs. I think we both predicted the Orcs. We did. The Secret of My Success, Russellford Sea Butter, taking down Crown Jelly and Oathblow 2-1. 14 armor breaks to 5. The Norse just never having the ball. The Orcs always having the ball. Out block. Oh man, this is a steamroll.
Yeah, I mean Orcs. If Necro don't get a good momentum going, this is usually how Norse versus Orcs
7
goes.
KOs, 5 casualties. The Orcs just always had the ball. This.
It turns out armor 9 is a thing.
Yeah, and armor 7 is a thing, it seems, as well. The Norse just getting absolutely rolled over by the Orcs here, it seems. They did manage to get a touchdown out of it, so they got some SPP and made it a bit of a closer game than you'd expect with that many removals.
There was a 4-man fireball that worked exactly as average as you'd expect. Two bombs.
Excellent. Yeah, so unfortunate for Oathblow, but well done to Russellford Sea Butter in removing the entire Norse team. Norse got a touchdown out of it, which is good, I guess, despite not having players. Although
I mean, they got a good amount of SPP out of it. Really, they got 12 SPP from a 1 touchdown.
Might have been a pretty early touchdown, and then 2-1 grind while also removing your opponent, kind of thing. And then let's see. So after those games, this is the leaderboard. We've got Atomex and Superfed tied for first with 5 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss each, and then Jimmy.
Both have played their games for next week, and there were some spicy results there. Well, I can't talk about that yet, but as you can see, Superfed has picked up a loss.
Yes. So yeah, pretend that this is really 5-1-0 for Superfed and 4-1-1 for Atomex, because those games have been played. But they're currently at the top of the div. Jimmy Burrito, Rolling Red, Fall, all at 4 wins, various numbers of draws and losses. Some of them have played their games again this week as well. Like Rolling Red has played. So they're in contention for playoff spots as well. But so we've got sort of the 5 leaders, and then it drops off to Not for Science, Doc M, on their points a little bit lower, down to 2 wins and 3 wins. Mr. J, O Revert, not doing so well. Oathblow, or sorry, Crown Jelly, Rusty Sea Butter, Razzlestorm, Professor Chaos, Basunda, sort of in the middle of the pack right now. They have a chance to make their way up still if they start winning their next few games, but they're kind of at that tipping point right now where they've got to grab a few wins if they want to be contenders, but they're not out of it yet. So while we're on this topic, do we want to do our playoff predictions?
We do. I'll start this time. I think Superfed's going to take the division.
I think Superfed's going to take the division. I think Atomex is going to take second with the Rowdy Rebel Rousers.
I think Jimmy Burrito's going to take
I think Jimmy Burrito's going to take third. And then I think that the Challenger Cup spot is going to go to Fallen Wonders. Fall. I think he's going to pull that one out.
I think Atomex is going to take third, and Professor Chaos, surprise from behind, is going to take fourth. All of my Challenger Cup picks have been kind of memey. Not I think the teams can't make it, but just
long shots.
I'm picking the 7th, 8th, or 9th.
And I'm basically what position are they currently in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Those ones. Is kind of how it's gone.
We should really do this at the start of the division.
We probably should. It just turns out when you've got 5 teams at 4 wins and 5 wins, and the rest of the divs at 2 wins, that they're pretty likely to go. So that order could very easily change, right? Superfed could come 3rd or 4th. Rowdy Rebel Rousers could come 3rd or 4th. Fall could come 1st still. It's all within reach for pretty much everybody. But those are the safe picks to go for because they're all a chunk above the rest of the div.
Oh Jesus, Superfed got pitch cleared. Well, we can't look at that yet, but it was a brutal game.
Teams.
Let's see if Fed has taken some damage.
Well, step 1 is Crown Jelly and Oathblow. We still have Black Francis doing things. We saw the Agi before, but he's now an Agi thrower with Hail Mary Pass, so that those Hail Mary Passes are slightly better, because that's how that works. And then we have, not only do we have a Norse thrower at all, we have 2, and the second one's grabbed a leader to give us 4 rerolls, which is certainly unconventional, but he could drop a reroll to save some TV at some point if he wants, but then he's dedicating his one of his player slots to that leader thrower, or else you're down to 2 rerolls. And with Norse, when you're probably going to lose players at some point because number 7, it's a little scary. So I don't know, maybe it's just a bonus reroll. Anything lying around that looks new-ish? A tackle on the Berserker, I think. Seems pretty new. The Mighty Blow piling on Berserker.
Yeah, Mustadido.
Einstein Odder is 2 SPP away from grabbing something. He's Agi Dodge Guard, which is kind of a weird combo, but that's just the nature of when you roll doubles and stats, so I don't know what he'll take next. A good question. I actually have no idea what I would take on that player.
On which one, sorry? On Henry.
No, Einstein Odder.
Hamster Hand. Sorry, Hamster Hand. How could I have gotten that?
The one above him, the Agi Dodge Guard piece.
Oh, it's a Berserker, right?
Yeah, it's a Berserker with Agi Dodge and Guard, which is kind of interesting. I mean, good, but I just don't know what to take.
Sure Hands?
Maybe.
Stand Firm?
Stand Firm would be good. Yeah, Hamster Hand is another.
Pass Block?
Yeah, don't do that. Mighty Blow piling on Guard.
Sneaky Git.
On that Ulf. And then, some linemen.
Thick Skull.
That makes sense. Various combinations of Tackle, Dirty Player, Dauntless, some general skills on the linemen, kind of as expected. We're missing an Ulf, which we would probably like to get a hold of pretty soon, because that's a big piece of Norse teams. And we don't really have a dedicated ball carrier right now other than the thrower, but he doesn't have sure hands or anything, which is kind of a bit that matters, but a G4 makes that a little bit less important. The secret of my success and Russellford Sea Butter, the thrower line orc still exists. He's even got pass now. Oh boy, what a weird orc. What a weird orc.
Right, you talk about weird orcs. I'm gonna go grab a beer real quick and put away the food that I'm sitting.
Throwers are awful. Let's not take a thrower. We'll just make one out of a lineman. He's better. Oh boy. Black. Oh, strength. Black orc. I don't know if I remember that, but that's strength 5. Block, mighty blow, guard, tackle. All these black orcs are really good. None of them have died. We've got 1 movement 3, but he's stand firm. 2 edgy 1. And who cares? Black orcs can suffer from that. Like if you lose one, they're going to take a million years to catch up again because they're going to be so low on the priority list for like blocks and that kind of thing. So having all the orcs these black orcs this developed is impressive and certainly really, really helpful for Russellford. Agi Strength Blitzer, 10 SPP away from a level, but he's a good receiver for that stupid throw line orc. Like, I don't understand. Thrower line orc, receiver blitzer, it's fine. Strength 4, stand firm, lodge, difficult to knock over. Also got good stats, good ball carrier, or ball runner if the lineman decides to throw it to him. And some other blitzers. A mighty blow one. Not a very like punchy. You don't have like a killer orc blitzer, which is normally a thing you see, but there's a lot of guard, and the black orcs are incredible. So it's a good orc team. Certainly a little bit weird in how some things have developed because of the ways that he's rolled doubles and that kind of stuff, but it's really cool, and I'm interested. I want to see this lineman do things. Thick, rich, and creamy from Jimmy Burrito. Doing well. One of both of our picks actually. I think third. Shadorra was thinking second. Werewolves are werewolves. Mighty Blow piling on. The other one's got Mighty Blow. I like the spicy like immediate jump up pick. I'm gonna get piling on eventually. Might as well just take jump up right now instead of like dodge, which you'd sort of expect as the first skill for the werewolf. But you know, whatever, that's fine. Confidence from Jimmy Burrito. 2 flesh golems. One is a rookie though. 1 SPP and he can pick up block. This one has got diving tackle, which we've talked about before. Agi 2 movement 5 white kind of sucks, but lodge firm guard is too good to get rid of, I think. And then we've got a movement 7 killer white, which is certainly is really handy. He's 20 SPP away from legend. And bucking the trend a little bit. A movement up ghoul instead of a movement busted ghoul. That's a new thing.
It is still the usual blodge fend though.
It is, but
some things stay the same.
He's plus movement though instead of minus movement. But yeah,
it's true.
Lodge, sure hands, fend. You know, he'll get sidestep at some point. Potentially sprint or sure feet to try to make 1 turns possible, but I think sidestep is first. Because they are possible with 8, and they'd be easier with sidestep, and then even easier with sprint and stuff once you've grabbed those. Couple is guard zombies is really handy to have, and then you know some block and dirty player smattered around.
Yeah, it looks like whatever death he sustained was not on a positional, so that's nice. Looks like he just lost a zombie.
Yeah. I love that he took jump up on the
looking
werewolf second. Like, I'm gonna get palm. This is REL. Like, just take jump up now.
We talk about that. We talk about that every time, and he has confirmed that he was just like calling Nuffle's bluff.
It's so good.
He did get Mighty Blow immediately. Like he got before he even rolled Mighty Blow, he
jump
rolled
up. Just take it.
Jump up, yeah. It's
excellent.
Funny. Though he has eaten a niggle, so that wolf will probably implode at some point. But he does have another Mighty Blow palm or a Mighty Blow piling on wolf in El Padrecito, so he's not that sad.
Oh, revert the dwarves. The Death Roller dwarves not doing so well this season.
The team that is a Death Roller, and that's basically it. Well, and the runner. The runner's good.
Yeah, the kickoff return blodge fend accurate.
We can't talk about the fact that one has accurate and one has passed literally
it's
every
so
week.
Funny though.
It'll make me sad.
And then the dwarves. Yeah, the not a lot of development on other dwarves, which is kind of a problem because dwarves, you know, you'll do well with dwarves with like guard spam, mighty blow spam, like the sort of things that make dwarves dwarves. And we just don't have those. Like there's one ridiculous longbeard with blodge, diving tackle, mighty blow guard, but then there's a tackle blitzer. There's 2 guard longbeards, a rookie longbeard, a rookie blitzer, guard longbeard, rookie troll slayer, and a tackle troll slayer. You know, there's a lot of development on the runners and on that one longbeard and on the death roller somehow, but
yeah, that's it. Well, I mean, it's block, mighty blow, piling on. Of course, it's got a lot of development. It just kills.
Yeah, it's a really good death roller, but
it's the coal train, baby. But yeah, it's a dwarf team that barely exists, and then a death roller that's awesome.
Pretty much.
It's no real surprise that it's not doing amazing.
Yeah, you kind of need that like solid core of longbeards to do well with a dwarf team. Yeah, you need that solid like guard core, that solid like guard mighty blow, a couple mighty blow pieces thrown in there for some extra removals sometimes, but without that like solid dwarf wall that you're able to like protect your other players with, it can be difficult to do things. And this team is basically the death roller and a bunch of idiots that follow him around, and sometimes that doesn't really work as well as you'd like it to. But I love this death roller. I love him so much. Oh man, what a hero.
Yeah.
What a good death roller. What a good boy. Look at this little boy.
And then we have Not for Science's team, who must but not be named. Oh, they keep getting redder, Ben.
There's so many red things.
Ralisek, the wrestle, agi up, leap, tackle, strip ball lineman has eaten a strength bust to go with his.
So he's on movement 6, strength 2. That's so bad. Is he dead?
He's a triple movement busted gutter. Of course he's dead. He's strength 2.
Yeah, but he's strip ball.
No, he's fucking dead.
He hasn't been fired yet, so that like indicates that he's not dead to me. I mean, I would like he's a sacker who's strength 2. I mean, he's still not terrible because he's strip ball tackle wrestle, and that's basically how gutter runners live. But he's also movement 6 instead of movement 9, which is a bit of a downside. Like, I think he'd be dead, but I also don't play elves, so what do I know? God, there's so many red things. 2 agi 3 elves is a weird thing. But I guess it doesn't matter too much when they're sort of your blitzers. One of them is diving tackle. Like, you're going to be marking people with him rather than dodging away. There's an armor 7 thrower, but that's okay because he's a thrower. Is there a player on this team that isn't injured? There are 2. There are 2 linemen that aren't stat busted somehow. The one-turner isn't either.
The disgusting legendary one-turner, Tenere, who I hope is in Imperium, and I wish to God I could open them. I've got a plus movement high elf catcher, Mystical Horseman, and Mystical Horseman carries my game so goddamn hard. He scored like 90% of my team's touchdown because it turns out movement 9 sure feet is really.
I opened a plus movement skink, but I have no other like lizard anythings, and I feel like that would be a bad idea. I did open
I have Chet Manley and literally no other Nurgle.
I got Tarbles, who's a Kislev catcher with Blodge Surehands, and sidestep and fend.
It's not even very good.
Yeah, like it's a mediocre legendary. Like Chet Manley is actually Blodge Surehands sidestep fend. I mean, that's pretty good, but like it's hard to build a team around when I don't have any other players for it, really.
It's just a bunch of normals, though. It's not even like any doubles.
I'll stick with my Yaza of Mucus team. Oh, it's so good. Anyway,
I just have a bunch of elves. I have a bunch of elf positionals and an agi up, and that's literally my
play Imperium. It's fun. Yeah, Blitzer. Fun. There's the thrower. I mean, he's armor busted, but who cares? He's just has to sit in the back and then throw 2+ long bombs because he is strong arm accurate. Then we've got a strength 5 catcher with frenzy because, you know, that's a thing that elves have sometimes. The stupid natural one-turner. This lineman is now agi 2 or strength 2. We talked about that. 3 movement 5 linemen, but who have skills, One of them is Agi 5 and Movement 5. Like, I don't even know what to say about this team. Like, there's so many stupid, ridiculous players, but there's so many injured players.
Disgusting and broken. Yeah, it's disgusting and broken at the same time.
I feel like this team is one bad game away from not existing, and like, but also every game they play, they're such a massive threat. Like, it's weird. It's like the ultimate glass cannon.
Yeah. Have you ever seen? No, it's an anime. You wouldn't have seen it. You've never seen Howl's Moving Castle.
I have seen I've seen some of it. I don't really remember it.
Have you seen the animation of Howl's Moving Castle?
Yeah, like the weird, like, stompy castle thing with legs.
How it's just like kind of just like shambling along and looks like it might fall apart at any moment.
Yeah.
But like it's somehow still lurching forward.
Yeah, I've seen enough
Yeah, so
of that.
Not for Science's team is that if Howl's Moving Castle was also on fire.
like it's so dangerous. Like, it's such a, like, you wouldn't really want to play this team because so many of these players are ridiculous, but it's also like one bad game away from just not existing anymore, which is quite a thing. I'm interested to see how this team finishes the season. Certainly, it's a 2160 elf team. Fogmire Fenbeasts and Rolling Red, the frenzy heavy lizard team. Dwarf Pube the Great has picked up Break Tackle to go with his guard stand firm. Certainly a good option. The other option is Grab, I guess.
Look at this AV up. It's weird that it's not showing.
Yeah.
It's weird that it's not showing up.
Yeah. AV busted, movement busted Saurus. But there are two Blodge Saurus on this. There's a Blodge Step Saurus. We've talked about that before. I'm not going to talk about the Blodge Step Saurus again.
There are so many things to talk about in this team.
It's so.
But look, Francis Drake is still on it. He still has reasonable skill. Look at that guy.
It is a very unconventional lizard team, but he's doing well with it. He did really well. He did really well a season or two ago when we covered him. He's doing well this season. He knows how to play this lizard team, despite it being unconventional, I guess is a way of putting it. So it's cool. I love it. Like, that's a lizard saurus, or a lizard saurus. They're all lizards. That's a legend saurus.
Oof.
Legend saurus.
I think he is in Imperium. I think I saw it.
Thulek. He's still there.
He's got Dauntless. Oh.
Yep. That's a strength 4 with Dauntless. For blocking big guys.
Oh, okay.
Blocking big guys. Instead of taking guard, we'll take Dauntless. He's for surfing big guys. You know, all those big guys with strength access, and probably take stand firm as one of their first 2 skills. Oh man, it's like it's fun to like yell and rant about it, but he's doing well with it. So what do I know? Nothing. It's fun.
I don't know. I was staring at the camera.
It's certainly a really fun team, and I'm I kind of want to take a look at one of their games one of these weeks. Skinks. All the development is on the Saurus, which is how you want a lizard team to be. You know, we've got one Agi Skink, and that's about it.
The Agi Skink is new-ish. I mean, I think he was here last week, but
I wasn't there.
It's what this team was definitely missing is a good ball carrier.
Good skink. It's a cool team. It's such a cool team.
It's winning. It's in 4th right now, I think.
It's such a cool team.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, what
Frenzy
do I know?
Spam Saurus, Dauntless on Strength 4. Everything is right about this team.
Basunda's absolute dismemberment continues, but he did be super fed this week, so that's
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Saurus and no Croxagore is a thing. Or 6 Saurus, I guess, but one of them is MNG'd.
But he 2-0'd super fed.
3 of those Saurus are armor busted, which is a problem. 2 of them are movement busted, which is a problem.
Though it must be said, he would have been going in that super fed game with Slibbly and a wizard, and he's got a wizard on a movement 9 Agi 4 skill.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
I can understand how super fed would lose that game. That's a really tough game.
And a movement 9 Agi 4 block stunty piece with a wizard, like, this, just pick up the ball wherever. It doesn't really matter. And then the Saurus are in rough shape. I mean, next game he'll have that other one back. Vagnosaurus will be back. Block, Mighty Blow, Tackle, Break, Tackle, Frenzy is a good sort of blitzy Saurus. And the other Saurus are sort of more conventional with guard, block, stand firm, break, tackle, that kind of thing. Yeah, but 2 rookie Saurus and missing a Croxagore is a pretty big deal. However, those skinks can certainly do things for you as long as you can make good use of your inducements, you know? the movement 9 one, like we said. There are multiple strength block skinks, but you can see with this few players, the team is still at 1500 TV because we have 560 TV of skink, which is a lot. That's a lot of skink TV, but they're very good skinks. So, you know, little half dozen of one, 6 of the other. Very interesting. It's a stupid good skink. Yeah, if he can survive, certainly has a good shot at things. But with armor 8 sources, it could death spiral if things go poorly over the next few games. So we'll have to see. But for now, it's still okay. Still okay. Amazons and Fall took a bunch of damage in his last game, but still managed to pull it a win. Nothing permanent, must have all been badly hurts. We do have 2 armor 6 blitzers now, which is not something I remember. One of them being movement 5. Anything new-ish? Alkano the Seducer, I think, is block newly, which is blodge, and along with all the throwy skills. One tree offense, the catcher has picked up sidestep, so blodge, sidestep, fend. Very annoying combination of skills. I don't think there's anything else new. We still have Doris there, the Agi 5 wrestle, tackle, dodge, strip ball. Pretty nonsensical. Very easy to cage dive your way into things or dodge through things and then get reasonable hits on the ball. And we can recover afterwards with, you know, your thrower or that Agi 4 blitzer, Anita Mandalay.
Sorry, Chabsu was asking what "ooh" means in REL chat, and I got a little.
Did you say, "What's this"?
No, he said, "What does "ooh" mean?" And I said, "I'll tell you when you're older." And then I think Hiroto Sakara is trolling him by saying it's code for weed.
Oh,
it's a W between 2 bushes.
Oh.
So some fun things.
Notice his bulge. What's this?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I sent you the "we're living on a prayer" thing, right?
Ooh, living on a prayer.
Yeah. Okay, we're watching this on
No,
stream.
we're not. No, we're not.
We totally are. You keep talking. I'm gonna.
No, we're not. What was I talking?
It's not gonna get your account taken away.
What was I saying? Amazons? I'm sorry, Fall. We've been distracted. I'm not talking about your team as good as I probably could be.
As good. Superman.
Yeah. Superman does good. You done well, son. The blitzers are still good. Mighty Blow, couple guard. There's the stand firm and guard on Nita Mandalay, which is really handy. The double AV6 blitzers is certainly not great because they're more likely to go down, but blodge everywhere mitigates that a little bit, but the AV6 is not a good number of AV to have. But we've seen Fall play this team. Very elf-like, a lot of winning despite not having players. So he knows how to play, make those low AV players work, take advantage of them before they're gone, certainly. Mr. J and Rouge's Gallery, 2000 TV Chorf team. We still have the Bull Centaur, the ball-carrying Bull Centaur, and we still have the blitzing Bull Centaur. No changes there. They're both armor 8. A lot of Chorfs. Turtle is still Turtle, on his way to Legendary, with Claw, Mighty Blow piling on horns and guard. I guess we'll get Stand Firm at Legend, potentially. Unless he rolls doubles for, like, Jump Up or something. Could also go Juggernaut, but you're probably not going to be doing a boatload of blitzing with Movement 4. We'll see where he goes. I mean, I think the big thing to do is pray for doubles, or, like, Strength, so you can Strength 5 blitz things. He is niggled, so he's a bit of a target for other Claw teams in particular, because he's the scariest removal Chorf on their team. So if you're like a Nurgle team or a Chaos team, he's like number 1 on your hit list. 2 other Claw Mighty Blow Chorfs with guard and stand firm. Very It's 3 Claw Mighty Blow Chorfs, which is a little annoying to deal with, especially since all the other ones are also leveled with Guard, Mighty Blow, and Stand Firm. It's like it's a good Chorf team. It's a really good Chorf team. The Agi Bull Centaur is such a big deal as well. Mitigates one of the biggest weaknesses in the sort of ball handling aspect. Guard Hobgoblin, you keep him forever until he dies because extra guard is good. And then, like Dirty Player and Wrestle lying around when you can grab it. Then we have Murderer's Row by the Doc M. We've got a Necro team in some sort of order, which is certainly pleasing. 2 Wolves, of course. First 2 skills, doubles, Mighty Blow piling on, before block even. That's a thing. Because the rolling stupid things on Wolves continues, we have an Agi 4 Wolf. Because, rolling stats and doubles are what Wolves do. White has recently picked up Guard, along with his Niggle, sadly, but he is movement 7, Mighty Blow piling on tackle Guard. Can do both jobs now. Got the Blitzer aspect and the Guard aspect. The other White straight up went for Guard, which is good, because looks like we've paid the Flesh Golem tax recently, and we only have the one with block and Guard. So more Guard to support as
saying
Tori the Third.
Like he's got a block Guard Flesh Golem, so he's definitely paid the tax recently. I'm like, I don't think you understand how long it takes to get a block Guard Flesh Golem.
No, he's got a rookie one directly underneath that.
Yeah, exactly.
He still has one.
I misunderstood.
And then the Token Ghoul with Blodge. He'll get Sure Hands eventually, probably. Guard Zombie is nice. The Dirty Player Sneaky Git that we're not going to talk about again.
That's great.
A Guard Blodge Zombie. It's Agi 1 dodges, let's go. He's got dodge too.
55% of the time. It works every time. I can't tell you how many times I dodged with my Blodge sword.
It's incredible. But I mean, he's just annoying. Basically, it's because now he's annoying to knock over, and he's got Guard. Right? That's all that's for. But it's certainly good. Unfortunately, he's injured for next game. Kick Zombie, Dauntless Block Tackle Zombie, and Dirty Player Wrestle Zombie. The Dauntless Block Tackle is certainly interesting, but if you don't have much tackle elsewhere, that's probably good. But that's starting to become a lot of TV for not that much zombie, in my opinion. But maybe that's just me. Everything else about the team is good. I think that's my 2 criticisms, I guess, are the
Handsome Tim is the heart and soul of this team, and if you fire him, I will no longer discuss your team on the street.
The Sneaky Git is a thing, and then Handsome Tim is starting to become too much zombie, or not enough zombie for too much money, I think, in my opinion.
He's just enough zombie for me, man.
How much zombie do you need in your life?
More Zambo for the Slambo. If you know what I mean.
No, I don't, and I don't want to. Rat.
This team no longer has Pwittic on it, and therefore I don't care.
Yeah, Pwittic is gone. Clawpalm Holland.
Every team has a. I declare what your mascot is, and the undying gutter runner was Rousal Storm. So now I don't care about this team anymore. Also, Clawpalm Holland didn't take piling on.
No, I think we saw that last time though.
I'm just gonna talk about it every week. Like, why would you spite Nuffle like that?
Clawpalm Holland took forever to get Claw. Finally gets Claw. Next skill takes Grab. Oh boy, it's so fun. I mean, I understand because it's going to help the 1-turns for the gutter runners with sidestep and all that kind of stuff. But it's just so funny. It's like I just find it so funny. I understand entirely. Thrower, nothing new. New gutter runner, sadly, because Pwittic is gone. But we still have a Wrestle Strip Ball gutter runner. We still have a Wrestle Dauntless gutter runner, and we still have the ball carrying one / annoying defensive one with shadowing fend diving tackle sidestep for defense and blodge sidestep for ball carrying on offense. And then line rats. Who cares? They're line rats. They have kick and they have dirty player and they die.
Yeah. So what this team needs to be truly gross is like some unfair gutter runners, and it currently has 0. So
I mean gutter runners like sort of inherently are unfair, but I know what you mean. Like we need like you'd love to see like a one grab double somewhere, like a movement 10 gutter runner or something. And Clawpalm Holland getting, you know, the piling on part of that would certainly be good too. It makes a really significant difference for removals, and sometimes if you're playing rats and you just get that like one removal a turn, it can win you games sometimes, depending on the matchup. So I'd like to see him get piling on, but that's a ways away because, you know, it's his legend skill. Perhaps Harry Styles can grab that soon because he is Horn's Mighty Blow Claw as well. So it's probably more his. He's much closer, so I think it's probably more going to be his job than Clawpalm Holland's.
It must be said, this team aggressively lacks tackle. Like it
really does, yeah. Harry Styles is going to get piling on, and then he'll probably get tackle as a last skill. But we got one on Clawpalm. Like Clawpalm Holland will be the blitzer when you need to knock over people because we have tackle and we have grab, so you can like force them to the wrong. Like if you're trying to blitz that scoring threat, you can make sure they're not pushed closer because of grab, and we have tackle to make sure we knock stuff down. And then Harry Styles in 7 SPP is going to be the killer blitzer, so it's fine. They're just named wrong.
Telling you, it's gonna go poorly.
Super fed 2300 Kislev. They're getting there. They're almost one of the highest TV teams in REBBL now.
I mean, they are definitely one of the highest TV teams in REBBL.
Well, there are higher still.
Not very many. Not in REL. I think he's the highest TV in REL.
If not, very close. Yeah. What do we have new? I have no idea.
There's no one over 2290 in REL 1.
There are too many skills to remember what is new here. I have no idea what's new. There are so many things.
I mean, we can just like very briefly look over his team. It remains gross. We both think he will win the division, so there's something there.
Yeah.
It survived what looked like a really rough game against Lizards, more or less intact. It looks like the only even MNG is on RK Prime, unless he's fired some stuff, but nothing is fresh, so he couldn't have.
Team Squirt is armor 6 now.
Yep, that's a big deal. But he also doesn't take very many blocks, I imagine, as he's his like key 2 turning piece. Yeah. Most of the time, he gets sent up the field with a screen and scores, and that's it. And when he's on defense, he probably doesn't field him. So.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
HD Love just leveled up for tackle. That's a big deal.
That's true,
he's
yeah.
an even better sacker now. He's a 3+ from getting a wrestle tackle to die on your ball most of the time. Pretty gross. Happy Tugs is a strip ball option if strip ball is more like relevant, and also just to have like some different options.
Yeah, this team, it just has so many options, right? Like it's got a player that can do like literally anything, you know. Hey, cool, I'm playing against elves. Well, it's time for Captain Stabbin to go hunting. Well, playing against bash teams, well, I've got a bunch of guard like stand firm guys, or blodge guard stand firm guys that I can like put in the way of my 2 turning threat that you can't stop, right? You know, oh, you're like gonna be on defense. Well, if you're the agi team, you know, Captain Stabbin. If you're the like control team or like punchy team, then I've got Happy Tugs or HD Love to jump in and wrestle things free, and then, you know, use my catchers with their agi 4 and high movement to get the ball away. Just he has a good option for literally every team, and it's so hard to find a team that he wouldn't be favored against with the build like this. So it's hard to predict against Superfed at this point.
Yep. I'm a particularly big fan of Teens Love Huge Clock. They're a big fan of timepieces.
Are you a big fan of timepieces, or are you a big fan of teens?
I think one of those answers will get me on a list, so I'm gonna go with timepieces.
Rowdy Rebel Rousers, another currently top of the division after next week in the future. Ooh. But one of my picks for div leading, and I think one of yours as well.
Yep. I picked him for 3rd. You picked him for 2nd.
Beast of Nurgle got
Gross
blocked.
Nurgle team. Ooh, that's a big deal. I see. I mean, the Sage was like movement busted, I think, before he even got guard. So this is like definitely a necessity. If you're going to keep this beast around, he had to get some cool stuff, and block is a cool thing.
Oh, so block beasts are so good. You're way less afraid to throw 3 dice at stuff when it's free. They're much more annoying to like try to uphill to get off rather than just dodge. So good.
I think I had a block score for all of 2 or 3 games before it got AV busted. So
it's just so good.
I wouldn't know the pleasure.
One of the good things is, it's just the big thing is the preventing of uphills, right? A lot of the times people will be like, well, dodging away will be hard because tentacles is a thing, so let's just try to uphill it. It doesn't have block. We can probably take the both down, and then now it has blocks. So you just can't do that anymore, and it's such a big deal. Some Nurgle warriors. I don't think anything's changed on the Nurgle warrior front. Those all look familiar.
Yep. I still don't like piling on Sand Dune. But,
some people do it, some people don't. Turns out
still doesn't have a blitzer. He's building one in Ornin Water Closet, but Ornin Water Closet has gotten a movement bust, which is the opposite of what you want on a killer.
Or a blitzer.
It's probably one of the more painful ones, to be honest. I mean, obviously strength is the worst. I think Agi and AV busts are both better to have on killers than a movement bust.
AV bust is scary because you're going to take piling on eventually, but it just means you have to be more careful with him and make sure you're not giving your opponents fouls.
If you're piling on pieces open to fouls, I don't like the +1 matters obviously, but it's not like things are already bad, like you're already positionally challenged, shall we say, or like in a bad spot, if that's the case. Well, kickoff return as a third. Oh, right, it's over.
I mean, it just turns out if you're armor 7 and your opponent has like dirty player, they will no assist foul you, right? So you're gonna have to dedicate like some players to defending the player after piling on, or just make it so that the dirty player can't get to you, rather than like if he was armor 8 and they like didn't have dirty player, if it was just armor 8, like you're probably not worried about the no assist foul, but it's a big threat.
You're worried about a no assist dirty player foul on armor 8, like that breaks armor 42% of the time.
Yeah, so. I mean, I would trade that for a piling on hit on an important piece. I don't know if I would trade a piling on hit on an important piece for that guy getting armor value 7 fouled, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I still think armor bust is way better than it.
Oh, no, I agree with you. I'm just saying I don't think the armor bust is also bad, but I would rather have the armor bust than the movement bust.
My killer got armor busted last game, so I am sure I'm going to feel that pain.
Yeah. Anything else new-ish? Bird still exists. The second Agi 4 Strength 4 sort of
wrestle tackle
that we've seen today.
Yep.
Ornin is the second Blood, Sure Hands, 2 Heads, Extra Arms Pestigore we've seen today.
I don't know what Crymogore does on this team.
Has Agi?
He's got Agi block kickoff return.
He picks up the ball, but...
And passes it to the Sure Hands ball carrier?
He's no glob, let's put it that way.
Yep.
Nobody can beat glob. Yeah, it's a bit of a...
Glob is dead.
I know.
Long life glob.
It's a bit of a weird piece, but he very clearly was for recovery, or he's a backup recovery, but it seems like it's a lot of TV invested in a player that is just going to be worse than Ornin at most of his jobs. So I don't really, it's interesting. I don't know exactly what he uses him for, but maybe it was, using him while Ornin was leveling up, and now that Ornin has gotten to where he wants to be, he might get rid of him. But I mean, we'll see what he does. It's certainly a bit of a weird piece. But Agi, I love meme rotters, so fuck it. Also, he's a rotter named Crymogore, which means he used to be a beast, I would imagine, because why would you name your rotter that? And that's probably a default beastman.
It is. Crymogore is a default beastman name. So.
He used to be a beastman. He got killed and was turned back into a human.
Yep. Magic. Don't worry about it.
Professor Chaos.
Because the Mulgore is like the suffix.
Yeah.
Professor Chaos and his pretty good orc team.
Strength 5 black mark. Tiny.
Yeah, that is pretty new. That's a big deal. Having him already have block guard means that he's basically a big guy.
He's a way better big guy.
He's an ogre without bonehead basically, and with block obviously.
Yeah, and less movement, but he's so good. Strength 5 block guard piece, so annoying to shift around.
It's the one with the golden tooth too.
Oh, excellent. What a good boy. Ugroth smash skulls. And then, the other ones are black orcs. They take block and they take guard, and then they take mighty blow, then they probably take stand firm.
I don't know, Morknast takes some weird shit.
And they're all They're all very close in SPP, which is handy. I talked about this earlier when Shadorra was gone for a little bit. But you know, if you lose a black orc, they can be so long to catch back up to where they were. But having them all like almost identical in SPP is both really good and like very impressive that you've managed to pull it off and keep them even. So that's like a big plus to throw Professor Chaos's way. Like, it's hard to do, and it's very handy, and it will treat you well in the coming games, I think. Yeah, Strength Agi Blitzer. Hello. He's also got Mighty Blow Guard and Tackle.
Wait for it. It's an AV up vampire.
Yeah, yep, okay. We'll just put that out there. It's an AV up vampire with block, tackle, mighty blow, and guard.
It's a good vampire.
Yeah, except he also doesn't have Hypnogaze or Bloodlust.
It's a good vampire.
Bad vampire. Good vampire. He's an orc. He's not a vampire. Fuck you. Sorik, you know, is the classic blitzer, the orc blitzer, pro and juggernaut, along with the kill skills. Morknast has, you know, both mighty blow, but also the Agi is new. He didn't have that before.
It is, yeah.
And I don't know what you. I mean, I guess the good thing is you can get guard in pretty easy places now, and if
yeah, I mean, he's also a pseudo receiver for the accurate
at
thrower,
the end, yeah,
because Morgrad has picked up accurate now.
Yeah, so you punch your way up the pitch.
He's throwing like Agi 4, and he's catching like Agi 4, so it's like a not bad like option for like two turning.
Yeah, like, and if you punch your way up the pitch, and then you get close to the end, and oh no, there's still some players in the way, you can like hand off or pass to that blitzer, because he can probably dodge his way to the end zone or punch his way to the end zone, either way, and then catch it on a 2+. So it's certainly good. He's got a bit of a multi-purpose role now. He can do a lot of things, which is kind of cool. And then there's the support blitzer we've talked about before, and that thrower. He's got a lot of skills, as mentioned. A line orc to go on the line with wrestle and fend, and then the other ones are also going to go there. Probably dirty player, I think, is something that this team needs. But other than that, I mean, this is an orc team that
doesn't really have space for it. Well, he does, yeah, because the wrestle fend goes on the line.
Yeah, just I think dirty player is the one thing this team is really missing, but it's got pretty much everything else it wants, honestly. I mean, you always want more black orc SPP. You know, more mighty blow, more stand firm would be good, but like it's got a lot of what it wants.
Yeah, it's gonna eventually have to recycle Varak Break Tea, but not necessarily with any
haste. Yeah,
urgency. Schedule. We only have 5 matches to predict. This should be fast. Good, because I'm tired.
We predicted. Yeah, we talked about our predictions for the playoffs. Greenskin Brawlers versus Thick, Rich, and Creamy. So we've got Jimmy Burrito and we've got Professor Chaos.
So Thick, Rich, and Creamy is a 2K Necro team.
2K Orc team.
It's got a pretty good bench. It's got a really good bench. And yeah, the Orcs do not have much of a bench, as I recall.
Yeah, the Orcs will have one, I think, two. The Orcs,
two. No, that's a pretty good.
That's a good Orc bench. The Orcs have a lot of guard. They have a lot of block on those black Orcs and that strength 4. But this is such a gross. The speed of this Necro team is going to be a bit of a problem for the Orcs, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's also there's 4 guard to 6. A lot of the guard on the Orcs is at a higher.
I predicted Superfed, Atomex, Jimmy Burrito, and Fall, and Shadorra predicted Superfed, Jimmy Burrito, Atomex, and Professor Chaos.
Yeah. No lizards.
What do you think for this one? I think it could go either way.
I think it could go either way. If Jimmy Burrito gets pulled into a bash match, he could easily lose. Yep. That said, he's going to have a much easier time removing pieces and keeping them off than the Orcs will.
That's basically how I feel about it.
And he's got dirty player. It's the only problem he's going to have, of course, is that he's not going to have good blitzes on like his defensive drive. Like he's going to have to basically claw mighty blow some linemen. But if he does get those lineman removals, the orcs then have to put better players on the LS next time. So if this does go to a couple of scores, I think this is like 60-40 to the Necro. But if the orcs don't immediately break and can pull the Necro into like a good bash fest by keeping, you know, that vampire back as a sweeper, then the Necro could find themselves in trouble.
I really want to say, like, I think I would normally say orcs here, but with just so much bench, the Necro are just gonna have unlimited like zombies to throw in the way of those orcs, and then they'll be able to outspeed the other orcs by like running around and that kind of thing. So I think I want to give it to Jimmy Burrito, mostly because of just how many players there are. It's gonna be hard for the orcs to chew through that. Not that Professor Chaos normally plays a super bash game, but it's going to be very easy for Jimmy Burrito to just throw zombies in the way, and then like, look, I've got movement 8, goodbye, because orcs are slow. And that's, I think, is going to be what a chunk of it is.
3 movement 8 and a movement 7. Okay, yeah, I think it's a small margin to.
The secret of my success in Cogs of War, you know,
I got to go with my Russellford Sea Butter here.
I think I do too. I mean, it's dwarves with the Death Roller. I mean, the Death Roller is so fun. But I think the big thing is, like we said before, is there isn't that like solid core of like just sort of guard longbeards to be able to deal with like the higher strength of the Black Orcs along with their guard and that kind of thing. And plus we have, you know, the stupid thrower line orc, and who could bet against that guy?
And Solo Vexer, another vampire orc blitzer. So apparently they just hand those out today.
Yeah, so I think I want to give that to Russellford as well.
Oathblow versus Felwith Cotadal is an interesting matchup. I think Felwith probably wins that. But like Norse are traditionally pretty good against elf teams. He's got a good amount of tackle.
5.
Many tackle. And a bunch of mighty blow piles.
Let me counter your argument with one statement. One turning catcher.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Norse are going to lose, but they're going to extract perhaps a heavy toll.
This could be the game, right? We said before for Not for Science's team that, you know, you said it was Howl's Moving Castle on Fire, I believe, where it's very dangerous and certainly incredibly scary to play against and could beat basically any team in existence, but it is one game away from just not existing anymore. And, you know, Norse are a team that could do that with, although there is only the 1, 2, where there's 3 Mighty Blow. But one of them's on the thrower, weirdly enough. Norse are a team that could do that, but I think I want to give it to, the Hiles.
Yeah.
Rats against Teen Stars and Fallen Wonders. So we've got Fall and we've got Razzlestorm. That's a thing. No Quiddick.
So Fall has a bunch of AV6.
Wasted TV and Claw.
Hey, Razzle, remember how we talked about how you have no tackle?
Good luck.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is probably going to go Fall's way. I mean, he's got sure hands, he's got blodge everywhere.
You have 1 tackle. What? Am I blind? Do you have 2 tackles?
He's got one on there's one on one of the blitzers.
Yeah, you've got 1 tackle.
Yeah, there's 1 tackle.
You're high, bro.
I mean, the wrestle strip ball gutter runner isn't going to be able to accomplish that much, I don't think.
You're also kind of fucked. I mean, like, Clawpalm Holland could just pop off and remove a player a turn, but as we've seen, Fall can kind of deal with that. So you've got to have.
Yeah, he's going to be able to play the elf game at you, right? He's got the thrower, he's got the Agi 5 linewoman, he's got the Agi 4 blitzer.
Have any sure hands?
He does
though?
on the thrower. Yep. And yeah, the blodge everywhere is going to be difficult too. So I think it's certainly possible for Skaven. What are the inducements like? Actually, that's the thing that could matter.
I mean, they might get Zara and just stab the rats to death.
I was more concerned about the other way. So the Amazons are going to be at 1580, and the rats are higher. So yeah.
Yeah, the rats are slightly higher.
Yeah, I was gonna say if there was a wizard or something for the rats, then probably rats, but there isn't. So I think I want to go with Fall. Sorry, Razzlestorm.
Yeah, I agree. I think you could rat it up. Like, they're very slow. They're below average for an Amazon team, even.
Yeah.
But they also have an Agi 5 wrestle tackle strip piece, and you have sure hands because you got to throw her,
Yep.
of course. But still, like, wrestle tackle hit, wrestle tackle 1 dice take the ball most of the time.
Agi 4 guard to make it like a wrestle tackle 2 die. Yeah, it's gonna be rough. I think the big thing is there's just so much blodge for the rats to deal with, and it's gonna be hard for them to like actually knock players over. Not that rats necessarily have to knock players over a lot of the time to do things.
That said, though, if you can get a good removal, like at some point in the game on July 29th, 2018, the 5th, removing one of his 2 tackles and his only mighty blow is going to be your key to winning this game, I think, because otherwise, like, it's just going to be you attritioning at each other. But his average block is a lot safer than yours because he's got dodge.
Yeah, I mean, I think the attrition game will probably go in the rats' favor, but I feel we've seen fall.
I don't think that's necessarily true. I think the rat blitzes are better, but only slightly, and the every other block that's going to be happening, rats do get tied up. Rats are only Agi 3. Rats take random blocks.
Yeah, that's true.
And almost every other player on the team has blotch. Like, yeah. The Amazons win the attrition game, I think.
I mean, there's only 1 mighty blow for the Amazons, so I don't know how true that is, especially since we've seen, I think on average, yeah, for sure, but we've seen how fall plays, and it's very, very elfy.
Yeah, but it's only 2 mighty blow for the rats, and they're not going to be basing Claw Palm Holland or Harry Styles in like a punch off. Both sides are going to get 1 mighty blow hit a turn, and then some random lino hits. The random lino hits for fall are going to be on rookie linos.
Yeah.
And for Rouse of Storm are going to be onto blodge or dodge linos, right? So
I mean, all this is a lot of words saying what I said forever ago, which is that I predict the Amazons. I think Razzlestorm would probably have it if a wizard was in play, but there isn't one because he's higher TV. So, Caleb McFarlane is going to be really annoying for the Amazons as well with all those skills. But I think it's on average the Amazons are probably going to take this one. I mean, even if they go down players, like you don't even have the backup of like, well, I can probably win if I remove players. I think even if they're not the right players, it doesn't really matter. Like, all can still.
Yeah, I mean, he's also probably going to get a Babe out of this, maybe even an Apo if he feels like splurging a little bit. He does have the money.
Yeah. So we're gonna go with fall. Murderer's Row and Rouge's Gallery. So we have the Doc M's Necro team, and we've got Mr. J's Chaos Dwarves.
Probably the Necro here.
Yeah, the Chaos Dwarves are incredibly killy. They're very good at that. But the Necro have the Agi Wolf. They've got their killy Wolf. The movement white is a big deal. They're going to be able to outspeed the Chorfs pretty good. But it's a good Chorf team.
Yeah, so if the Chorfs don't immediately implode the Necro, I think the Necro have to.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I were the Chorfs, I think this is the one of those situations as the Bash team where you pray you go on offense first, just to hope the removals go your way, and kind of give up on the 2-1 grind plan, and just be like, I'm gonna try to remove you, and if I can remove 3 or 4 guys in my drive and then score, I probably win, and if I don't, I probably lose. But that's the risk we're gonna take. Yeah, I think I'm with you. Maybe the Chorfs. Yeah, no, I think I agree with you in that the Necro.
You should not agree with me because we have no contentious pick in Div 2A.
Well, I was gonna say that I was gonna get there. And see, I agree with you, and I think that the Necro are going to will win if the removals don't go the Chorf's way. That said, I have a gut feeling that Rouge's Mr. J is going to get some removals this game, and I'll pick Mr. J, and we'll see what happens.
Great.
So, after that is going to be us. Let's bring up the title screen. Next week we'll be looking at games. If you think your game is particularly interesting, feel free to give us a poke, and we will maybe take a look at that. We are going to bias ourselves towards teams we haven't looked at and or playoff contention teams at this point, because we're starting to get to that point in the season where some matches may or may not be more impactful for playoff standings. So we're going to try to bias our way to those if we have to. We are certainly starting to get there. We are just done week 7 now, over the halfway point. Time to start seeing which teams are going to go to playoffs. It's time to start ramping up that playoff hype a little bit. You know, nothing crazy yet. We're still a ways away, but playoff hype is ramping up a little bit. Oh, we're getting there. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We'll be back next Thursday to do more div review things for REL 1 and 2A. Be sure to check out Tself streams if you are in REL 1, because he is streaming every REL 1 game like a madman. We are not doing that. We are just recapping them.
Nope.
So feel free to come check us out and our recap on next Thursday. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Until next time and next Thursday, I've been Steakmittens.
And I'm
See you later, folks.